Here we are, everybody. I wanted to do a video on this, but as I was going to work on it, the story changes so much that I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna do a live stream. Let's get Wimmy to read this. Wimmy, that's not how you read it. Wimmy. There you go. That worked, right? You can hear Wimmy. Can you actually hear Wimmy? Oh, you can't hear Wimmy. Okay, I'm gonna read it anyway. Literally just read someone saying that anyone using Uni from now on is bad because they don't understand the concept of profit cuts, and I get this notification. Yeah, so today I'm gonna be talking about a lot of things with Unity. This has been such a, man, what an issue. Okay, so if you don't know, the Unity engine, which is a very popular engine, used by most free-to-play games, used by a lot of engines. Thank you so much, Monk of Dark Times, for Paragatito El Dorito. Sadly, Wimmy can't be... Wimmy's doesn't seem to be working today, but... yeah. Thank you so much, though. Unity is used for tons of applications. It's not just bad applications. Like, people have this perception that Unity's like for trash games, and it's like, Ori and the Blind Forest was made with Unity, guys. Like, it's just an engine. It's a very popular engine, you know. So, what we have now is, Unity announced several days ago that they were gonna have a Unity runtime fee. Every time somebody downloads a game, basically, you'd have to pay like 20 cents, the developers would, after it passes a certain threshold. And the problem is, so here it is, Unity Personal Plus. Those who have made $200,000 US or more in the last 12 months and have at least 200,000 lifetime game installs. That's a lot of money, granted, but if you're a big team and you're selling free-to-play games, that it's possible that you will be paying Unity more than you're making. After this change, because you gotta think, you're paying what, 20 cents a download, 20 cents per install. It can very much be that if people aren't paying for your microtransactions, you're losing money, you know. And so this has been just a big ol' issue, and they talked about like where it was going to maybe retroactively affect old downloads. I've heard a bunch of that stuff. Jeff Keighley weighed in on this. So basically, here's the thing that I think a lot of people aren't. What do you mean DDX? So this is what this is where the best part or the worst part about this is. So there's this concept in business that every business decision is like some evil businessman at the top is making some schemy moves to, like, you know, build his golden swimming pools. And as much as I want to always say that, because it's by far the easiest way to get people on your side on YouTube, the problem is that's not actually true. Unity has only made had one profitable quarter, and it wasn't like exactly profitable. It's like you could argue it was profitable. So one profitable quarter in its entire history as an engine. The reason it's alive is because of it's a publicly traded company, and now that it had its profitable quarter, it needs to sustain growth. And this is not the way to do that. I think it should be said this is a bad business move in my opinion, or this was a bad business move, and we'll get to all this later. Ideally, what they would have done is they would have charged either a flat fee for people that don't meet the threshold, they would charge a revenue, have a revenue sharing program. Not necessarily this, because clearly it's going to affect disproportionately the free-to-play, people. Unity's had a ton of issues, though, in the past few years. Like, let's see, Unity's CEO's statements recently, but Unity CEO... Yeah, so basically he said anybody that, what was it? Anybody who doesn't implement monetization in a game's development is a fucking idiot, according to the Unity CEO. This is why the only reason I've cared about the Unity CEO recently, because he says so many. It's the same guy, right? He didn't get fired. Yeah, I believe it's the same guy. So, we're dealing with the dude we're dealing with here isn't necessarily the best at public relations and the best at, in my opinion, business, because again, one profitable quarter. Not saying I could do any better, but I'm just saying, like, this was obviously never going to work. They have to make a profit, because this is basically I think the engine is probably on its last legs, and they haven't really let people, they don't really build that, because again, they're a publicly traded company. They don't let people know that, Unity share price. Yeah, down 8% today. Oof. See, that's the things the investors are not happy because of reasons we'll get to in a bit. This is, it's been going down pretty steadily, as you can see. And this is, the argument that's being most made is that Unity's pricing is a symptom, not the cause of tougher times ahead for the games industry. The general consensus is the economy is collapsing. That's what I'm feeling. You can go across pretty much every single thing I cover, and these sort of it's just that this is a particularly stupid decision in the fact that your audience is going, is primarily free-to-play games. And I'm not gonna say like these, massive developers, like, oh man, they gotta pay, the big publishers, what a shame they gotta pay a little bit more, but it does ruin the, ideally it would get rid of the free-to-play model. That would be cool, but we're gonna see how that actually, works. Infinite exponential growth is just, not possible. Unreal has 5% rev. This is from the comments. Unreal has 5% revenue share, which is expensive but predictable. Yes, for me, I've always liked Unreal because it is just a very flat. If you ever did charge anything, or if you ever did make anything, they're just gonna take their money, their small 5% or whatever, and that to me is just a little bit better. How much of the games industry will collapse? I don't really know if it's gonna be too much of the games industry. Like, I wish Whimsu was working. I could read this. I don't know how much it's going to be of the game industry, like the big part of the game industry, but stuff like Unity, stuff that can't survive on profitability, that's always going to be a problem, That's always going to be a problem. Iron Source is the malware ad company. I've heard about that. Iron Source company. Is it malware, or is that just like, is that hyperbolic? Let's see what they say. Iron Source desktop business was spun off several years ago. Yeah, it looks like, I don't know, that might be a little bit less black and white than that, but congrats on 100K, thank you. An installer that Iron Source made was used to distribute malware, okay. Everything in tech is beginning to bottom out, from Alphabet's YouTube, and Musk's X show the reality of what publicly traded tech companies suffers from non-profitability. Well, that's the problem, is like, because profitability is, it's such a fine, to actually have a profitable venture, it's such a fine line. I don't think, because like companies like Spotify, didn't get a profit for like, what, 10 years? Do they even get a profit today? So much of what we have today isn't profitable, and so many of the things that people take for for granted as like, oh man, it's great this particular technology exists. It comes at a cost, and that cost is the collapse. You know, I think all of tech, not all of tech is a huge bubble. It depends. I don't think regulation's gonna help with this case. Like, you would basically, the trade-off would be the people who would want the regulation the most would be the ones affected by it the most. It's basically like entertainment, I think, is going to collapse. Media, like a lot of people's media is going to collapse here pretty soon. And that's gonna be very interesting of what's the reaction then. I have more viewers than the gauze splatting. I don't know about that. Time to read books and go outside. Has anything similar happened before? I mean, we always have, you know, financial issues based on bubbles. I'm not like a financial expert. It's just, it seems fairly clear that this kind of growth was never going to be sustainable, and most companies aren't profitable. If they're not profitable or they're overvalued, something's going to collapse. And Unity is just, again, a byproduct of this. This whole incident did not go over well. Zero, thank you so much. Good to see Zero. I've been gone for a little bit. Let's see, the Derpy Lizard. Has anything happened similar before in entertainment? I think the 2008 writers strike, that did cause a drought for like TV shows, but thank you, Archie Magooch. But beyond that, no, I mean, we're not really, this isn't really something we'd be thinking about from, come on, Wimmy, work, read this. Why is Wimmy not working today? Can you hear Wimmy? I can't hear Wimmy. The games industry is begging for regulation. I don't think the regulation's gonna help. This isn't an issue of regulation. This is an issue of growth. Like you can't fix this. The only way you fix this is like, okay, so the dark reality here is the way you fix this is a lot of people lose their jobs. A lot of people lose their jobs, and a lot of these companies go under, and people have to just go find alternative employment opportunities. That's gonna be the scary, because it's like, you know, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Wimmy. She has not been working recently. She could work, but I'd have to like close the stream to get her to work, which is a shame. That's gonna be what's probably the roughest part about what does really seem to be the beginning of, and I could go over this. I think I've been talking about recently on my other channel. I just released a video about Marvel CGI artists unionizing. It's like the big issues here are everything is so much less black and white than I think the internet wants it to be, you know, because there is a balance of like, what is the ideal thing where everybody gets to keep their jobs? What's the ideal solution in that? And it's like, are there bad actors? Are there greedy actors? Is the Unity CEO the best guy for the job? Probably not. But this decision is not simply because a guy wants to fill his bank accounts. It's because this is the end. If it is truly this bad, because again, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm smarter, you know, I know more than every single person that works for Unity, you know, somebody whose job it is to deal with the financials. But looking at this, if this was actually something they had to do, then that's so bad. That's so bad for the future of this industry of Unity's particular. I think there's alternative engines, you know. Sometimes there's proprietary engines, but Unreal has already been dominating so hard. You think streaming as an industry will explode? I do, except for like, I think Amazon Prime will stay around. I think Disney will maintain some semblance, but I think original content won't be around. Wimmy's not working. There you go. Godot, yeah, that's been. I saw the guy on Twitter, the head of that, tweeting about that. It's pretty fun. Let's see. The CEO constantly selling shares before announcing this, did he? Unity CEO selling shares. Let's see. Yeah, he's definitely sold more over the last 12 months. That is definitely a red flag. Because this went as it went public just a little bit ago, and it was a stock that was like super overvalued, and I think everyone knew it was, but it was during like the GameStop time. It was like the GameStop time of like, oh, everything's going to the moon. And then, I mean, this dude, he is pretty scummy, but again, when Kotaku puts headlines like this, it's like, they're definitely not telling you the whole story. If you ever see a company going after somebody else as a company, there's an irony if there's a business decision there being made. Kotaku plans that. They're not going to tell you the whole thing. I'm not going to tell you either. Let me see. I like that Unity isn't going to whatsoever tell developers what they dictate as fraudulent installs, so their loose nondescript definition is going to be weaponized to screw devs. Well, that's the thing is, I should clarify, we don't know if this is going to happen. Unity has reportedly apologized for its install fee. It says it will be making changes to it. That happened. That's not reportedly, but we don't know what the changes are going to be. Are they going to back off? Are they going to change what they've said and done? I doubt it. I doubt they're going to be like, okay, we're not doing any, we're just not going to make any changes. Because they do have to, again, the company's going, probably going to go under here pretty soon. So they got to do something, but what's it going to be? Now, I don't think it matters because the biggest problem is trust. Like so I know a guy who's working on, he's working on a Unity app that's not gaming related, but it's a pretty powerful tool. And it's like, it's something he's not going to be able to move over to another engine. It's not something that could really be ported over because it would take a significant amount of time. And for that situation, it just kind of it changes what the pricing structure would have to be, where it's like free to play you can't do, and these people look at these developers look at the future of Unity and they're like, well, do I want to spend the next 4 years working on a game in Unity, or do I want to work on Unreal, so, something that looks a little bit fancier. It's like, I think they're gonna pick something a little bit fancier, especially right now. Yeah, there's a learning curve to Unreal, but it's no more than the learning curve you'd have for Unity. I think the union conversation is something I don't even know if I'm allowed to have. It's spooky. Too little, too late. How many people do you think will lose their jobs from the collapse? Look, I'm not saying the entire economy is going to collapse. That's not financial advice, but it's like a lot of the big entertainment things we take for granted today, I think, are built on really fine lines. Loose gravel, glass houses. I think that's the word. It's not good. Blumpo has been dead for a long time. What's the legality of this? I mean, it's in terms of service. For anything, you could do it, Any company, like, if you guys ever check like what Adobe does, it's so much worse than like pretty much anything else, but like this is more of, again, I think a lot of people miss when it comes to businesses. There is almost everything can be defined by fiduciary responsibility, which is the idea that if you are a publicly traded company, you no longer have, your only responsibility is to grow, not just to make money. So every decision has to be made by that. if you make decisions that, like, say the Unity, say any company is like, hey, we're gonna go and make, we're gonna just give everybody the engine for free and just coast off of our earnings. Those people are, that's considered bad, not just because in the system of, they're basically taking the investors' money and using it as like a, for reasons they did not want. So it's like, this is the problem. Was this a bad decision? I want to say it's a bad decision just because obviously you're going to get such a massive backlash. Unity's not in a position where it really has that kind of leverage, I feel, to be like, we're just gonna, 20 cents for every new install. Hello, Black Lightning. Yeah, I think this, the Derpy Lizard says, what do you think about Elon thinking about turning Twitter into pay to use? Is that a real thing? Twitter pay to use. Did you say that? Will X become pay to use? You gotta pay for TweetDeck. I mean, I'm not seeing it, but if it's there, that'd be very interesting. I have an Elon video I'm working on for Knowledge Husk, my final Elon video, which is basically was the decision to buy Twitter the smartest thing he's ever done in his entire life. And not because it's going to make money, but for the exact opposite reason. That's basically it. How's Starfield? Oh, I love Starfield. It's why I have not been streaming, because I'm playing Starfield. And I'll probably be playing it for a very, 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 very long time. So, Unity's proposal is fundamentally flawed because installs isn't aligned with success for their users, whereas for Unreal, rev share is. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is the install concept, especially since Unity is kind of the go-to free-to-play application. Most people aren't really building as many free-to-play apps in something like Unreal. So having that, that seems so silly of like, if a developer sells their game for $0.00 and expects microtransactions, most of the time they're probably not making 20 cents per user. Can my PC handle streaming Starfield? I mean, yeah, but I have multiple PCs, which is, my PC itself I need a whole PC just to handle this, just to handle the kitty cat and Wimmy that doesn't actually, it just doesn't work. Like, seriously, she's still not working. I'm trying to just zoom in on her. There we go. Ziggy TV, I completely disagree, but I'm not having the Starfield debate here. I think a lot of people have there's a huge sense of negativity on the game, and I think it's because the internet is really, really bored. Like, I can do any video on Starfield I thought about, but it's like, so I'm gonna tell you how most YouTubers make videos. What you do is you go and you find the common sentiment. You go on Reddit, you go on Twitter, and you figure out what most people think. And you have to sort of feed into that narrative. It's why a video like mine of like the Saints Row video did so well. You just tell people exactly what they want to hear, and they're gonna eat it up. So if I make a video of like Starfield's a huge disappointment, that's gonna get a ton of clicks. If I make a video called Starfield is actually really fun and I enjoy it, I'm gonna get just shit on by everybody, because people want to be pissed off about something. It's what drives, I did a Discord experiment kind of about that, which I'll have a video on here maybe with the Elon video, But yeah, negativity literally drives the internet. That's what profitability looks like on the internet. A lot of YouTubers, if you ever see a YouTuber like a commentary channel, like a big commentary channel, do not think that they're sitting there like, man, I'm gonna take the risk today of having a really hot take. It's almost always gonna be, okay, what is the easiest decision I can have that people will be like, oh, I love your opinion on that. You know, because it's easy to read people. It is really easy to, as long as you can read people and tell them what they want to hear. Rage bait and tackle, that's pretty much it. Algorithms love the hate. I mean, that's the thing is, I don't want to hear too much negativity in my things either. I love the game. It's my game of like the generation right now. But again, I do not give two shits about what the rest of the internet thinks about games. Yeah, I kind of quit caring a lot. That's kind of why I quit the Discord and a lot of other things. Was like, I've noticed most of the internet is just so. I think it's kids. I think like 90% of the internet is children. And that was kind of scary to realize. Because you can tell like the lingo that people use. You can identify their age based on the demographics. It's like. Almost everybody online that goes around acting like they're like in their 30s is probably some 14-year-old. It's amazing, and by amazing I mean horrible. That is one law I'd always be in favor of passing. The one truly, it's just you need to put in your driver's license and be over 21 to use the internet. I'm gonna lose like 200 viewers right there for saying that. I'm gonna lose 200 subscribers. We're gonna get under 100k now. Hello Damien's Adventure. So with the Unity thing, it's fun. Like this whole thing's terrible. I've talked to people and they're basically like, we're screwed. Like we can't. This is the problem of relying on a singular game engine, and it's like there's no way around it. There's no way around. Because if Unity collapses, can they continue development? Probably not. Unreal has just been pushing so hard on visual fidelity and optimizations that it's getting to a point where it's like people get so much shit for using Unity as it is because they see it as inferior to the Unreals. You know, it's like I've used Unity. I'm not good at using Unity, but still. Why? Thank you so much for the 20. If the DS is older than you, shut up. That's great. No, I said 21. I said 21. I stick by 21. Once you get to 21, you'll understand. Damien's Adventure says, something I wanted to add to the Unity thing. VTubers and PNG tubers use Unity for all their tracking and rigging and art. There's going to be side effects to that policy. Well, I mean, if they quit using, if the applications get delisted, absolutely. For those things, though, they could just charge like a $10 fee. I think you might see Unity move away from free-to-play, which could be good for the consumer, but we don't know. But I don't know how they're going to manage this. I feel like what they really should do is take a percentage of revenue of like microtransactions if that's what they actually need to do. It just doesn't make sense to do it on a per download basis unless you're actually hurting that bad. And I should mention I'm not running on Unity. Whimsu doesn't run on Unity. I'd say just go on Unreal. I'm pretty biased because I don't know how to code, but I can use Unreal Engine because I use the Blueprint system because it's like a video game. It's like Little Big Planet. Every piece of software will go bankrupt and we'll be like in the 1980s where we all had to use a party line connected to like 4 houses and it cost way too much to call someone one state away. I have 4 frames of animation. Count them. Yeah, the guy I'm working with, working on some technology that will maybe, not for the Whimsu cat, but for something else, allow an absolutely unprecedented level of animation for Knowledge Husk. The Snowman video on your 3rd channel is the best animation on the internet the internet has ever produced. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about that video. I only animated like 7 seconds of it. So we're gonna go watch it actually. Just cause I need Wimmy to stop talking. Wimmy's talking for me. I can hear Wimmy and she keeps talking in my ear. But okay. Seaburger. I was gonna change the Seaburger logo. Fun math games ad. I'm sure I just get a virus. Seizure warning. I'm gonna turn this down. Don't blow your eardrums out. So like, yeah, I did make this. I made this, obviously, you know, it's in Blender, but everything after this point was generated in AI. Yeah, well, after that, obviously. I can't animate that in Blender. It just looks so bad, it's so horrifying. And it took significantly longer than making the Blender animation as You can get a lot of good stuff with AI if you spend a stupid amount of time with it, and it's not worth it, and that's why you don't see channels using it. I did get a lot of people really pissed in my last video, or not a lot of people, but I did get people genuinely pissed at me for using it, even for my memes and stuff. It's like, I don't give 2 shits. I don't give a shit. I've fucking been doing art for 10 years now. I remember back in the days when people told me I wasn't allowed to use keyframing, or keyframing was cheating. I'm listening to a book, an audiobook about, if you know Michael Eisner from Disney from 30, 20 years ago. Back in the 1980s, it's like the story of his work at Disney, and it's so weird to hear them talk about CGI as, like, cheating. Like, they call it as inhuman cheating. I'm like, oh, that is not gonna, oof. We're gonna have a wacky time here coming up. When it comes to AI, there's another thing, and I don't think a lot of people realize this. I'm gonna tell you guys, I told one of my YouTube friends a few days ago, if you go to Storyblocks, which is the site that almost everybody uses for, like, stock footage, there is AI-generated clips. A lot of the clips that look like CGI are AI generated. So a lot of YouTubers unwittingly, unknowingly have been using AI for like the last 6 months. Let's cancel them. What do I think about Roblox moving to the 17+ category? Uncomfortable. I feel very dirty. I'm a dirty boy. What decision does YouTube need to kill YouTube? I think the only thing that would kill YouTube, because how many people use YouTube? YouTube user count. I think it's 2.7 billion. That's like 30% of the, you know, global population. The only way you kill YouTube is requiring YouTube Premium to use it, I think. That'd be harsh. AI animation is so stupidly difficult to get accurate, where it's like, it's not worth it unless you want something really cursed. And that's why I use it, is because it's so cursed. And it's like, I talk about in my latest video, you give up control. You give up complete control, and unless you're fine with the most abstract, horrifying art right now, you're not going to get anything of... You know, there's a reason channels aren't using AI art videos, especially, and shit. Do you hear about the voice actor who was paid $500 for a commission only to find out it was AI? So what, did they do $500 just to get their voice AI'd? See, I even think that's just weird, because it's like, somebody has to do the work for the AI as well. Somebody has to do that work too. So it's like, why not just pay the voice actor? You know how much more time it takes to make something in AI look genuine? Like, a lot of the pictures I use that are AI, I'll have to draw over them. And, you know, I'll draw over them, and it's like, it takes more time than just dragging a PNG over. It takes like 3 seconds to drag a PNG in of Mickey Mouse. It takes like 5 minutes to render a moving, horrifying Mickey Mouse. She was scammed $500 for a drawing she thought was real, but was in fact AI. That's the problem. Would it make a difference if you didn't know? It's that philosophical question. Is AI art less valuable if you don't know? I see it as a horrifying tool that I love because it's so existential, and I think there's a way to use it. Like, I think the way most people use it is really lame. People use it for like the lamest, like, I'm gonna sell a cartoon coloring book on Amazon. You know, it's like, no, you gotta think of it like dreams, making digital robot dreams. Beep boop bop. Boop bop. I'm always scared. One of my biggest fears with the AI thing was like, okay, so like 10 years from now, kids growing up will have videos entirely generated by AI, and they'll be experts at it. You know, they'll have the AI voice, the AI avatar. You know, they'll automate the entire process. Won't even write the scripts, and I'll have to compete with that because YouTube's my full-time job. Not Whimsu. Whimsu is not my full-time job, but YouTube is. And so it's like, how do I compete with that unless I do it? Unless I just start using it, you know? It's really rough. It's a rough thing of like, 'cause I was horrified by this shit, but I don't want to lose my job. Thoughts on the next Valve game? I've not seen the next Valve game. I know Tyler McVicker. Multiple games. What'd you say? It's called Prime? Neon Prime. Oh, I've heard of Neon Prime, yeah. Wacky new idea. So it's the, I don't know, I've heard about this for so many years. I think it's multiplayer. I don't really play too many multiplayer games, but I think it'll be cool when they make that. Should AI be slowed down or stopped because we do not know the implications of it? Well, it's kind of impossible to do that. It's literally just Pandora's box. That's Pandora's box. This is why I try to explain with the story block shit. Is like, all the people I get who will bitch at me for using any AI art, not realizing that everyone's unintentionally using AI art, because you can just make AI shit, sell it to Storyblocks for, you know, for profit. Basically becomes a curation site. So it's like half the YouTubers out there have already used it without knowing it. And they're gonna continue to use it because you can't, you know, it's like with anything in art. Art is not about, that's the problem with entertainment as a byproduct of, like, you know, creativity is the intrinsic value only really matters to the artist. You know, the extrinsic value is the joy it brings to somebody else. So if it's created by a human or not created by a human, you can't really put a price on that, and that price can also be null, you know. Would you even be competing for the newer generation of viewers? Like, I think they would be able to create their generation's entertainment like 12-year-olds make videos for 12-year-olds. Yeah, it's that's the problem, is you're never gonna be able to curate to that market, but also if you make on YouTube, if you make entertainment for children, you lose that market within like 5 years. People just stop watching you. If you go and watch like the biggest YouTubers when I was younger, 10 years ago, they're not big now, you know, just because the kids grow up and they quit watching. Thank you, Schwur Metal 154. Do you ever think we'll see fully AI games for consoles and such? I mean, maybe, but like, here's the thing: is AI doesn't. I know I talked about in the Pizza-tastic video, like it's just an automated process, but it's not. It takes more time to use AI than to not use AI. Flat up, like straight up. It takes way more time. The only difference is you get a potential increase in quality if you're a small YouTuber. You know, if you're somebody like me who is like, I could spend 1,000 hours animating something in Blender, or I could spend 5 seconds or even 10, well, maybe not 5 seconds, but like, let's say an hour getting the perfect AI render, you know, like that might be worthwhile. But for like a Hollywood studio or a video game developer, nah, you give up that control. It's like, imagine you had a monkey, the greatest artistic monkey in the world, but you can't control. He makes whatever he wants, and he does it really fast. And you can tell him roughly what you want. Like, I want a ham sandwich, a painting of a ham sandwich. Ham sandwich, not hand sandwich. And the monkey will make it for free as quickly as a blink of an eye, but you don't get exactly what you want. So you have to keep telling him over and over and over again that you want that sandwich. You know. Well, the thing is, I tried to do the test of whether, so the test I did before I've showed people this off is whether AI is actually stealing other people's work would be derivative of, could it copy a style like 8-bit? Could it copy 8-bit video game art? Because 8-bit video game art isn't really, there's not a lot of pictures of it online. And if it was just a collage of that information, it would just get those pixels. And it doesn't do that. It's more of line art. Like, AI can't make AI art very easily because I guess it is just like trademark, the whole copyright stuff around this. That's going to be a big issue. Oof. No one's going. The thing about AI art is like the conversations people have now is the exact conversations people had about CGI and digital audio workstations. I think a lot of the people complaining about it now are especially much younger people who weren't there or haven't heard of these stories. You know, who don't know that, like, oh, this does happen every 20 years. You know, if you're in art, your skills become antiquated. AI art can do original work, yeah. I mean, like, I showed you the original this video. I could take my art and shove it into AI. I've done it countless times. You can animate your own stuff, you know. Where is it? I don't know why we always get on this topic. Like animating that would have taken like, I don't know, 5-6 hours, but you know, I can just draw the original picture and have it do the rest. Yeah, it's a tool that, if honestly, most people are probably using it and they just don't tell you, or that's what's going to happen, is they're not going to tell you they're using it, because it's like Whimmy over here. I could tell you I drew Whimmy. I drew Whimmy with my 2 bare hands. I painted her. I got these gradients perfectly on her face, but I didn't. But it'd be way more impressive if I did. If I told you I made her in Blender, it's a lot less impressive. AI art's not going to be used as like, that's the thing, is this is my big fear for a lot of artists, is especially me, my initial reaction to it was, this is like crypto. It's like tech bro shit. It's gonna fail. Obviously gonna fail. And then I started to realize it's not going to fail. And it's not like crypto. It's a tool like Photoshop. When Photoshop was introduced, you know how many jobs that removed? How many jobs that like took away from people? Like the CGI artists that are gonna lose their jobs from this it's going to be people that do stuff like animation rigging solely, you know, people that do some of these fine details that most people have never heard of, you know, UV mapping and all that stuff. And it's like throwing that in, because AI is not something new, it's just in the public's consciousness it's something new. Like keyframing, you know, is that AI? Starts to raise a lot of questions. It has to be based on original pieces. Yeah, it can't just, you can't, like, AI isn't sentient. It's not sentient where it can make its own thing. You can have it generate its own image, but it's usually kind of trash, depending on how you do it. Yeah, Bender Futurama plush. Look at my Bender, guys. Look, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, like, that's basically unusable. This is unusable. Dog smashing keyboard. Mickey Mouse with the shotgun, that works. But that took me a long time to get Mickey Mouse with the shotgun. That's the thing, a lot of AI, frame interpolation, is automation. And it's driven by weird... There's like this... People imagine Midjourney. They don't imagine... something like an automatic video to video converter, you know. It's always gonna take human work. But that's the thing, is in 10 years, the artists who have jobs will be the people who, like, again, in the 80s, listen to this what's his name? The Disney man, Michael Eisner. Listen to that book. You can tell, and it's not solely about that, but you can tell the artists who were the traditional hand-drawn animators just became antiquated, and people kept them around as sort of like, because they were well respected for the next 10, 20 years, but the moment that technology caught up, there's like, oh, they're out the door, and it was just the people that knew how to use that tech best. And I'm not even talking about like CGI, you know, 3D animation. I'm talking like digital art. Like, you know, if you use Flip-a-Clip, or you use Procreate, or you use Adobe Illustrator or Flash, you know, those people who knew how to use that were the only ones that got jobs in 10 years. AI is basically a new form of automation, yeah. It's like it... I think it got really... People got caught up, especially in the art community, with the idea of, like, commissioned art, where it's like, I can make my own Iron Man. And it's like, you know... But the problem is, like, these are all licensed characters anyway. This is my Jeb Bush and Kermit the Frog. It's getting better. I mean, I think like, it's the problem of realizing, like, for me, I've spent probably 20,000 hours working on, like, playing instruments. All those skills are absolutely useless now, because I can just go into my, my little keyboard, my little Mac keyboard, and just press a little button, and it'll make the music for me. You know, play the exact notes on a guitar, and it won't... There's no timbre, but nobody's going to notice the timbre. And that's the other thing, is like, we're kind of getting to a point, is what if the entertainment industry, what if Hollywood itself is collapsing? This is something I wanted to talk about in that AI video. But like, what if Hollywood is collapsing, and where are these people going to move? Are they going to move to YouTube? You know, because on YouTube, you almost have to be more of a jack of all trades, or are they just becoming editors, you know? It's spooky. Real spooky stuff, guys. And if it is collapsing, then who's gonna replace it? Like, because the average person doesn't really... A lot of media becomes more disposable and isolated to particular niches. It's not like independent art is just going to surge because everybody has an independent project they want to sell to you. You know, everyone has their own Citizen Kane, their own Citizen Kane for all the people to watch, you know, and it's like, China. So anyway, this Unity stuff, let's get on to the Unity closes offices as staff receive threats after new pricing policy reveal. Update. Threats came from Unity employee. Oof. That's an oof. That's so weird. So it was a Unity employee making that statement. I don't think it was like a false flag operation, but who knows? Is Seaburger my Citizen Kane? It will be. It's sad, the only reason Seaburger exists is because, is to test out the new animation stuff. I think Unity's always been on a decline. It's just, you know, it's been on a decline. It's just the trust is gone. Regardless of the reasons of why they did it, the trust is gone. Unless you are absolutely forced to use this program, you're not going to be, you know, using it. Because again, I hate to shill for Unreal. It's like, it looks better. It's easier. And I think the general move for all, I know this has its own, like, scripting, Unity has its own scripting thing, but the general move for all coding is getting towards sort of this, visual language scripting for people that don't know how to code, which is another scary thing. Unity used to be the engine that was always recommended for noobs. Yeah, now it's Unreal. You know, it's like, I don't think this is gonna push open source. I think this is gonna push primarily just Unreal, because no one's competed with that. I mean, you'll have like Godot, but you know, as big studios or even indie studios, are they gonna look at Godot or they're gonna use something that's they know is gonna stick around for Game Maker Studio and RPG Maker? Yeah, developers are just like leaving. Let's look at like Cult of Lamb's statement. Basically, the developers of Cult of Lamb said they're gonna delist the game on January 1st if they didn't change the if they didn't change the policy. Just funny, like, because yeah, there's so many developers spoke up because it's like it's just absolute. Regardless of the reasons, it's just who wants to work with a company that's going to do that? You know, it's like. It's with any service, you don't want to have your entire livelihood can be uprooted and you can start losing money because, you know, the company you're working with you thought was on stable ground isn't. Unreal does make my laptop go burr. It's I use it because I don't know, it's the only thing I know how to use. I miss the Blender game engine. You guys remember Blender game engine? That was so good. That was the greatest game engine. That was my first game engine, I think. It was like, man. Let me see. Yeah, it might have been a joke, but I think for a lot of companies, especially for the free-to-play ones, if you were selling your game as a free-to-play title, absolutely you'd have to just delist it or risk losing money. You know? Dreams. But yeah, the whole point I want to make here is this is not about like, this is not like a this is more nuanced than people think. And I think a lot of business decisions I've started to realize, I've gotten so much shit on my channel because I'm trying to like explain, it's not explain both sides, it's not defend both sides, it's explain why things happen. And people are like, you shouldn't even talk about why things happen. It's like, Okay, yeah, you're not really helping your cause there if you're just gonna say don't talk about why. And it's like the reason they're doing this is they're losing money. Likely at some point, Unity could shut down. You know, but it's not to say this guy's a genius. You know, it's not to say this was a good decision. It's just to say it wasn't birthed out of pure, we need more money. You know, it is a little bit more complicated than that. Yeah, I don't think Dreams, that game is gonna, I don't think Media Molecule's staying around for too much longer. The problem with Dreams, I think, is it didn't get a PC port. You know, like, if it was on PC, it could have been actually a legitimate, like, game engine, but being on console solely really does hinder it. Joe Mama, I'm not gonna do that on stream. Let's see. Well, do you think there's a pump and dump? Did he ever pump it though? It really looks like he's more dumping the stock. I don't know if it's a pump and dump. It just looks like a dump and dump. Again, like one profitable quarter in the company's existence. Which is just rough. It's kind of just it's not sustainable, you know? I don't ever think Unity's been see, they went public 2020. So the report, Unity considering revenue-based fee caps, self-reported install numbers, engine maker may also eliminate retroactive install counts for minimum thresholds. So that's the reported changes. Self-reported install numbers, it doesn't include demos, it doesn't include Game Pass, doesn't include any of that. It's still a little silly. Revenue-based fee cap maybe makes a little more sense. Limit to customers making over $1 million. For comparison, Epic's Unreal Engine currently charges a flat 5% royalty on all developer revenue after the first $1 million. So, I don't know. Yes, this was the big issue, is like, it just seems like such a, I don't know if there's a lot of cocaine involved here. I don't know. He kind of looks like a dude that'd be on, you know, doesn't he? That's the face of, you know. Pharaoh, nice to see you back. Thank you so much for the $2. Fingaza, JJ, Pharaoh, Sarium. Thank you for that. So, most of today's programmers rely on open source software to do shenanigans like this in the wider tech sector during the 90s and 2000s. I don't know if most programmers do. I think it's definitely indie programmers more so. But that's a whole other conversation. It's like the Linux argument. Well, that's the thing, is the only reason people would work with Unity at this point is because if you spend 7 years learning an engine, like these engines take a long time to learn, you don't really want to just give it up, you know? You don't want to spend the next 7 or 8 years of your life relearning another engine, and all the ins and outs. Is this legal? It's legal, it's just probably a bad business decision on their end. It's like, just doing greedy things isn't necessarily, and it's not even necessary, we don't know if it's greed or if it's just stupidity, or if it's not stupidity, because again, if they only had one profitable quarter, no clue. I don't think it's legal through, it's not even like it's just illegal or anything, it's just revenue share, you know? Every engine has revenue share, that's how it works. It's just their way of doing it was particularly bad because Unity is a primarily used by free-to-play games. Heard lots of people saying the stock selling is insider trading, which is very much illegal. That might be, but it's not like he's selling the stock, but that's not. It's weird, but it's not like he's selling the stock knowing it's intentionally going to tank, or this seems like a move, because you gotta think, when this move happened, Unity stock didn't go down. I don't think a lot of people realize Unity stock went, now it went down 8% because they're reconsidering, but when they're announcing this stuff, it was actually doing pretty well. You start to see the backlash, and then, ooh, not doing so well anymore. The CEO shenanigans. I know again, I'm just saying greed, I think, is a word thrown out where it's like, I'm not saying the CEO is not an absolute dirtbag. He definitely is an absolute, dirtbag. But when you're talking about Unity post first profitable quarter on non-GAAP basis, which is basically like a means of how of responsibly reporting profitability, expects to be profitable in 2023. Having like one profitable quarter in your history is just that's why this is happening. Things are more nuanced than the internet usually likes to make them out to be. But this guy is still probably a shitbag. I mean, based on that original statement alone of calling everybody idiots who didn't monetize their games, in that way, that's pretty bad. We do have other non-Unity stories though. There's a lot of the thing with nuance is, like, on the internet, it's not really, it's a lose-lose situation. I've tried it in videos before. The moment you say anything that, like, because most people, especially on the internet, at least in the comment section, view the world in a very black and white way. It's like, it's either you say exactly what I want, or I'm gonna get pissed at you. It's like, that is the most profitable way if you're a content creator, though. It's always tempting. It's always tempting to just do that. Going public basically just kills your tech firm. Yeah, I think at this point, the idea of going public seems like a flaw. Like I don't know. I think that's what's gonna kill a lot of these companies. I'm sorry, I'm drinking my tea. It's green tea. I'm a healthy boy. Let's talk about the other news today. Not all Unity related. That's not the news. I hate that. Did not give me my... Here's my news. I have no sugar in the tea. I can't do that. If it's iced tea, you kind of need sugar, but if it's hot tea, I think the sugar would ruin it, right? I don't... Also, yeah, I think that defeats the purpose. If you have a chance to just do green tea, and just make it hot, just try it. It's great. Am I still making a game? I barely have enough time to make Whimsu videos. The game might have to take a little bit of a break. Square Enix. Enix has lost almost $2 billion in value since Final Fantasy XVI launch. Latest underperforming AAA game prompts investors to question publisher strategy. It's dumb. That's the strategy. It's dumb. Okay, this one's a little bit less nuanced. What was my game gonna be about? It was about this. It was originally called Untitled Snowman Game. I'm not gonna spoil what the game's about in case I do actually make it, but it was the best game. It would have been the best game you've ever played. Square Enix lost $2 billion in its value since the launch of Final Fantasy 16 because... Okay, this is what's so funny to me of all these arguments people have on the internet. When Final Fantasy 16, the initial sales were revealed months ago. Everybody was like debating whether this was a successful game or not, and you had it basically was a console war argument. Like on a PlayStation side, they're saying, oh, it's a huge success because proportional to the number of PS5 sold, it must have made money. On the Xbox side, you'd hear the exact opposite. And it's like, the problem is in this situation, it doesn't matter about the console war, it's just it didn't sell enough units. Game budgets are going up. If you have console exclusivity like this, you're not going to sell enough units, and they didn't sell enough units. And so it didn't meet sales goals. And it didn't, alongside the failure of stuff like Forspoken and the lack of live service success from the Avengers, I think the declining Marvel brand contributed to Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Babylon's Fall and Forspoken, obviously. Man, what a rough time for old Square, for old Cloud Boy. Square Marvel Avengers is going to shut down servers in 1 month. The full game is $3 with every XP boost cosmetic freely unlocked. Devs are working on making most of the stuff offline. Oh, that'd be pretty nice. I played the game. I played the single player version of the game. I was like, that was fun. It was mildly entertaining. I didn't hate it as much as most people did. I just wasn't I quit as soon as it got to the live service stuff because I just didn't care. It just wasn't for me. But if they're making it free or basically free, Squeenix, you guys are calling it. That's what the kids are calling it. I saw this today. I haven't read any of these, so I'm just... Mortal Kombat 1 fans are roasting the $70 Nintendo Switch version for its eye-popping visuals. Is that the visuals? Because that looks great if they pay $70 for that. I'm so surprised that they can... Like, I know this was the problem with Nintendo's charging $70 on... Nintendo did it. I think ZeniMax did it with Skyrim Special Edition 2 or whatever. But having $70 Switch games right now just doesn't seem like a good idea. Doesn't work. Oh no, everyone can see my email. That looks way better than I was expecting. Not gonna lie. I thought that was gonna look like thought the game was gonna look like a PS1 game. I don't really agree, Water Potato, with the sentiment that GameCube games look better than modern games on lowest settings. I don't know about that. Maybe some games. If you have good scaling, if you can have good scaling on your engine, well, that is quite an achievement as a developer if you can manage that. You would have to set the LOD so low, I didn't play Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know if it's worth $70. I said it. GameCube games have, especially like Sunshine, have aged so well, and Wind Waker is the one everyone cites. But if we're talking realistic, even, yeah, it's gonna be hard to find. Maybe like a Call of Duty, because those games are like, they scale so low to certain hardware platforms, but beyond that, your main console's the Wii. There you go. Okay, now this is I was gonna do a video on this, but I don't have the time. I have another project on my brother's channel, Alternate History Hub, and then I'm gonna have to get back to Knowledge Husk relatively quickly. So sadly, I'm not gonna be able to make too many videos, so I'm gonna have to fill it out with some streams. Are new games going to be $70 and $60? I mean, they already are. I think the question now is it going to rise to $80? And again, the problem is, historically, games have cost as much as $120, adjusted for inflation. So it's like, the sky is actually the limit, if we go back 30 years. So, basically, we got, for whatever reason, a lot of internal emails from the FTC versus Microsoft case. This is probably the final big piece of news we're gonna get, and it's like I'm not making another video about the FTC Microsoft thing. I'm not doing it. I don't care. I don't care that much, you know. I care, but it's been a year. Let's let it go. So the emails show Liz Hamren, I pronounced that right, former head of platform engineering and hardware at Xbox, pointing out the strengths and weaknesses of Sony's PS5 specs compared to Microsoft's Xbox Series X. PlayStation hardware lead Mark Cerny detailed the PS5 specs just 2 days before Microsoft publicly announced its own Xbox Series X specs. Hamren lists the variable GPU and CPU clock rates of the PS5 versus us running at higher sustain rates. Hamren admits Sony has a clear advantage on SSD performance with the PS5. Blah, blah, blah. We already know that. Some shit about teraflops. Nobody gives a shit. Teraflops aren't real. Cerny spent what seemed like a disproportionate amount of time on audio innovations. Is that true? Is the audio on Sony's disproportionately good? Sony can use any NVMe. Xbox has to use Seagate and Western Digital. In internal emails, Microsoft was also quick to react to Sony's PS5 price increase last year, despite not hiking Xbox prices immediately. Xbox CFO Tim Stewart, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna read you the article. Some dude wrote this. Let's give him credit. It was Tom Warren, of course it was. Like he's the only guy who writes articles anymore. Bill says Sony has been force bundling Horizon Zero Dawn with $50 Adderall. They give you Bill gets some real perks with his with his position. He gets Adderall with his PS5. I bought my PS5 2 weeks ago. The only option was Horizon Zero Dawn bundle at $549. It seems once you get this August 22, it's not a real gamer. He waited 2 years to get his PS5. He's not a true gamer. It's the wrong button. I'm not a real gamer. So that's not all that interesting, Tom. I mean, it's mildly interesting, but so yeah, that was less interesting than I expected. This is a big one. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition reportedly coming to PC. Okay, so I talked about this in my NVIDIA leak like 20 years ago, but Horizon Forbidden West was on that list of games getting ported to PC. Apparently it's coming to PC. So yeah, I'm just gonna play it on PC. Like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I have a PlayStation. I have a PS5. I'm too scared to plug it in. You know? I don't want to have to charge the controller and update the controller and do the controller. My tea. Okay. Ooh, this is an oof. This is what kind of killed, man. I'm so done with doing the news videos. Cause look at this shit. Look at this shit, everybody. Nintendo briefed Activision on Switch 2 late 2022. Performance discussed. Closer alignment to PS4 and Xbox One. Well, that's fun fucking tastic, yeah. The whole video based on this incredible revelation from the most trusted sources. That it was a little bit more powerful visually than that, and we're getting this news, which just means it's pretty much exactly what everybody expected. It is going to probably be PS4, Xbox One level power. With DLSS, you could probably manage something visually close to next gen, with just how next gen engines work, you know. But that's what sucks. It's like, I just saw this, I was like, oh man, the video's already outdated. Instantly outdated. Gen 8 refers to the generation that includes Wii U, PS4, and Xbox One. What does that mean? Internally, So does Nintendo view itself as an 8th gen platform? Yeah, so again, being able to run Matrix Unreal Engine 5 demo, that doesn't necessarily not mean it's not close to PS4 and Xbox One power. I think I was just kind of hoping that they might be pushing the limits a little bit more, but it is what the earliest report suggested of, like, I was thinking PS4 Pro. If we're getting even Xbox One in the conversation, that is not great. You know, not great. This one is like actual emails released, you know, between Nintendo's president and Bobby. So, oof. I think generations have pretty much died after Gen 8. I think it's kind of become pretty much a dead concept. Now we got the final one. Elder Scrolls 6 won't come out on PS5. Microsoft document reveals. So there's this document. Microsoft's approach to acquisitions following 2018. It's kind of funny. Clearly Sony, you know, bought the exclusivity for this. You had this is open platform, then Starfield, which was apparently originally planned before Redfall, because that was November 11th of last year. So this is Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna be an Xbox exclusive. That's not really that telling. There's a little bit of a story of like them saying maybe it won't be, like, unless the game's coming out in like 10 years and Xbox doesn't exist anymore. There's no reason to put it on PlayStation. You're not gonna make more money compared to the comparative size of the Microsoft corporation by selling 20 million units of a video game compared to Azure Cloud. I don't think PS2 games were being made in 2016. I don't think that's true. I'm gonna say 2013. 2013. Wow. I just nailed that. Top of my head. ES6 available on PlayStation via Game Pass in the browser. I mean, basically, yeah. It's going to be like, you know, they're going to push the cloud with it. Gens are for bragging about how old you are. Back in my generation. Let's see if there's any news that I missed. Liza P came out or something. Let's move on to the let's do this. Let's cover the hot topics. Bill Maher reverses decision to bring back real time amid writer's strike. So there's this big controversy of the actors and the hosts doing basically they're like trying to do shows during the strike, but they're using employees who aren't a part of the WGA, but they're getting like a lot of shit for it. How do you guys stand on that? Because they're not a part of the strike. But is it scabbing? Is it wrong? What do you guys think? I'm genuinely interested. Because I don't give a shit. But I'm sure you do. They're gonna pick at the HBO series. I don't care. Let it burn. I just hate Bill Maher. I don't personally like. The thing is, if they're not a part of the union, it's like it's not technically, because like I don't think, especially outside of entertainment, it's like, you know, there is solidarity for like other unions and stuff, but the problem is like say a YouTube. Should YouTube stop doing its stuff? Should YouTube stop making YouTube because the writers are striking? Should I stop making stuff in solidarity? You know, I don't know. I do know. The answer is no, but this case, this is a little bit more nuanced than that. Is it, you know, I don't know. I'm not all that, I don't care that. Like, I didn't even talk about the auto strike, which I think was a way bigger deal. That kind of shows you the way YouTube algorithms work. The auto workers went on strike. I don't even talk about that because that's not going to get as many clicks. I'm gonna sell out. Let's go to Wolf Blitzer's website. So basically the people who do they make the cars, they're not making cars no more. Cars don't exist anymore. How many people went on strike? How many of the car people went on strike? About 13,000. It seems like a lot. Everyone should go on strike. What would a YouTube strike look like? I would just press stop streaming. That would be the strike. I don't know. It's like, when it comes to any of the strike stuff, it's like, I mentioned like unions can be a contentious issue, and I had so many people in the comments that were like, what are you talking about? How it can be contentious? It's like, have you never actually seen a union? Like, not all unions are perfect. Unions can be very helpful for people, but there's somebody called the Teamsters over here. You guys know who the Teamsters are? Like, I can't fucking respond to every single comment like that, but I'm tempted to. I'm so tempted to respond to my comments. Just give them a big ol' history lesson. It's like, I'm not anti-union, but I recognize things exist. You know? Knowledge Husk. Jimmy Hoffa. YouTube strike. It's just 24/7 copyright material streams. I'm not doing the Teamsters video. No. Ooh, no. I'm not getting canceled here. I don't know if I will get canceled for anything at this point. I've done a lot of racy jokes in my past that I've gone through my channel. Who are the Teamsters? Just look them up. I'm genuinely scared of them. I didn't want to mention them in my last video. Cancelled is a cute way to say Jimmy Hoffa. What's that? Capital owner, landlord of 5,000 apartments. My apartment, I'll tell you guys a story, because this is a fun story. This is not a fun story. This is my personal life story. So in my apartment complex, they're paving the parking lot. Which is nice because it's like, you know, it's a paved parking lot finally, but it means you have to move your cars, and one of my cars doesn't work. It's like a Jeep it's just imagine if you left a Jeep outside for like 6 years with a broken, you know, soft top, and you didn't drive it for 6 years, and then imagine what would happen. That's what happened. So I had to move my vehicle. I was basically forced to just sell it to the first person who would possibly take it, because the rear axles just didn't work anymore. You can't even push it. Okay, I sold it for, I'm gonna tell you, I sold it for $250. 250 smackaroos. What is, oh. It's a shame. Its name was GP. It was, I spray painted it myself with white and brown spray paint. Or primer. I think it was primer, I just never applied the actual paint. Yeah, I sold my manual Jeep Zero. I had to, because it was like, it got that, For one, the entire interior was just covered in mold. It's been left out in the rain. It was an actual biohazard. And it's such a shame. GP. Seeing GP go by and then take GP away is a harsh moment. Now I also have is like a front wheel drive Buick. Can't have any fun with that. Yeah, it was a manual. So it's a shame. I don't know. F for GP. RIP GP. It hurts. GP was like the love of my life for years, but eventually you can't. If you don't have a garage, if you live in an apartment complex, you don't have a garage to keep your car indoor. Don't have a car that doesn't have a roof. It's a life lesson for all you people out there. Yeah, I have a Buick. Not a fancy Buick. If I tell you I have a fancy Buick, would that make me cooler? I've never had a car with cell phone support. Put it that way. I would have had to spend way more money to make it work than I paid for it. That's why I did it. You know. Did the Jeep have the reliable V6? It did. No, it's not a 90s, 80s Buick. I got most of the vehicles I get from like family. But because like unless you buy like a really new car, like a 2011, 2012, you're not gonna get Bluetooth support for the most part. You know. I've never had like, if you have a cassette player, you're lucky because you have an aux cable. Yeah, my apartment's not quite fancy enough for a carport. Let's see what news we got. Oh, Disney and Charter Spectrum agreed to a new cable bundle. Basically, if you don't know, Disney took off ESPN and Disney Channel and FX from Spectrum users. I'm a Spectrum. I think I have Spectrum, but I don't have like cable, so I don't give that many shits about it. But they're now combining. You get Disney Plus if you have like the version of. It's like a package deal. Some stupid shit. For Charter, this deal was about trying to save its industry. I think for both of them, the deal is about trying to save their industry. What happened? Some dude tries to buy ABC. We're not getting that. Yeah, dude wanted to buy ABC. Media magnate. Self-proclaimed comedian from what I've read. Let's see. What has he done? Wow. This is the man who gave us Who Wants to Date a Comedian? I don't know. Pretty on top. Does he actually own the Weather Channel? Oh, he owns the Weather Channel. He could buy ABC. I don't know. The $10 billion deal seems a little excessive. I don't think he's worth $10 billion. This is like through other things he'd have to do. You'd have to like, get some financing. But he's offered to pay I don't know why. I don't know why he would offer to buy ABC for $10 billion. That seems like several $billion more than it's worth. I don't really watch live TV. I watch, I have a Samsung TV thingy that I can like turn on, and it has like Top Gear on 24/7. I put that on for my cat because my cat likes Top Gear. But other than that, I don't really watch much TV. I don't watch like standard TV. Well, this would be a very, this would be this would probably be worse. Would this be? This would be worse than Twitter, I'd say, in terms of like. I want to talk about the Musk thing. I think Musk bought Twitter to kill Twitter. There's like reports about that. Like he intentionally was fine losing the money. And looking at his net worth, I want to drink my tea while I do this. So let me try this. Musk. Doesn't seem like it's gone down. He's still worth a decent chunk of change. And he didn't really pay that much. Most of the money for Twitter was paid by like the Saudis. Like this dude got the Saudis to pay for Twitter somehow. Maybe he is a genius. Maybe those drugs are really kicking in. You know? It's amazing to think that Steve Ballmer is only worth $7 billion less than Mark Zuckerberg. You know? Yeah, I already deleted my Twitter because I wanted Musk to kill Twitter if he could, and I'm the optimist in me is hoping he's doing that he is actually intentionally trying to kill Twitter. Because so what's going on now is Twitter Blue, everybody, is the smartest thing that Musk has ever done. Because here's what he did. Sounds like a stupid idea, but they pay you for the engagement you get, for the impressions you get. So now, once every journalist, once every single person who has always talked about their moral superiority on the platform that Musk hates, got the opportunity to sell out, you get to find out who is willing to sell out. I think that was his plan. If he was a genius. If he's not, then it was just a stupid business plan. But there's been so many people I used to follow. That's what killed Twitter for me. So many people I followed that were like good journalists I'd look up to. They started rage baiting, they started clickbaiting, and they started making really lowbrow, lowest common denominator content because they knew they could start making money from all this. It's like, I don't know if that was his plan. Is it possible it's a moment of genius for this man? That his expertise is in screwing people over. Right? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's his one superpower. Is screwing people over. I don't know how SpaceX is worth $140 billion. What's he gonna do? Go to the moon? No one's gonna go to anywhere after Twitter. I think it's just over. People are gonna quit talking to other people. I can't do Twitter. I can't do it. I can't do the internet. I talk to you people, and this is too much for me sometimes. I talk to my robot, and that's hard too, even when she doesn't work. Just lost 200 viewers. What's my favorite? There's a heart in the way of your comment. Classical music. Captain Jack. Captain Jack is my favorite classical music. Dream a Dream by Captain Jack. Dream a Dream. Changed my life. See how many listens he has on Spotify. How's he doing financially? That is listens? This song only has 4 million listens? That's 93 million listens for Captain Jack. I got my own playlists. I'll share them someday. Rip Captain Jack. Have I seen Cody's new Pointless video? Yeah, I see all of Cody's videos like the day before they come out. I've never seen 300. But, what'd you guys think of the mouth movement in Cody's last video? What'd you think of that? There's no way Captain Jack passed away. Captain Jack. Musician. Does he not have a Wikipedia entry? I'm so confused. We may never know. You didn't like the mouth movement in Cody's video? So, here's the thing. I've been working with... There's a way to get that mouth movement. I've been working with the guy to do it. And I think there's a way to do it with an original character, but I don't know how to do... Like, because my theory is this. Because when I first saw Cody's character talking, I was like, oh, that looks really neat. But when you see it in the video, it does seem a little off-putting. And I'm hoping or thinking it's just context. I included a 4-second clip in my last video. Which I'm gonna pull up right now. This should give you context. Because I'm thinking about, could I use this technology? It's very fancy new stuff.
Hey,
that's what it is. It's a Windows ad. Boom, 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 boom. Where do I say it? It's next to the elephant. Okay. I'm gonna ask you guys what you think about this. So, elephants in the room. The AI elephant. It's a stuffed animal, apparently. No, I'm not stupid. I know that these Hollywood... That's it. That's the 4-second clip you get. The 4-second clip right there.
The AI elephant. It's a stuffed animal, apparently. No, I'm not stupid. I know that these Hollywood...
The mouth movement isn't perfect because I had to do it by hand. I didn't use the special fancy way to do it. But is it off-putting? Would that be too off-putting for people? The frame rate's really high. Trust me, the time, that's what makes it special. I don't want to talk about too much of it, but it's not done by AI or anything, but that's gonna be the question. Also, my mouth movement was terrible there because I threw it together as a proof of concept. It's not about unnecessary, it's about time. It's about videos take so long to make now, and YouTube's kind of like views across the board are down. And at some point, I need to be able to edit a little bit faster. And it's getting on Knowledge Husk. I'm close, but unless I literally just make AI art the basis of the channel for like, that's how, or I just drag in story blocks clips for everything. You know, you got to make compromises somewhere. I think that's what this last video is about as well. I think with Cody was I'm not touching the Whimsu cat ever. I'm not touching the Whimsu cat. I'm never adding a mouth to the Whimsu cat. The mouth for the guy, I'm gonna change the mouth. It's more about doing the. What movie do you think that Cody's gonna do next for his Pointless Hub video? He was gonna do Rise of 302 or whatever, but he dropped that. I know a few of his ideas, kind of, or maybe I'm just I don't know if he's doing a Zack Snyder arc now. He might add wings to the Whimsu cat. I was never gonna touch the Whimsu cat, but it's like a new technology that would allow me to do something nobody else on the internet has done, which would be to have near perfect mouth syncing. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll pull it up right here. Bum, ba-dum, bum. I'm sorry. It's on my other computer. Dun, 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 dun. It's in my download section. Okay, that is not it. I'm sorry, guys. Just imagine I'm doing something really compelling right now instead of looking through my files. 23 seconds. This should be it. Okay.
But
Oh.
using
Okay. Bump, bumpy, bump. Gotta pull this up. Now, this is with Cody's character, not my character. But conceptually, let's just think about it here. I'm gonna mute the music. Okay, tell me what you think about this.
Blender, using CGI and not AI. I have control over everything. Everything, including keyframing. I can move the camera as I like. I can make the snowman move to the exact position on the screen, XYZ axis. And with that power, with that control, this is what I made.
Okay, maybe a little off-putting because it's Cody's character, but what do you think? What do you think of that? I thought that looked great, right? Yeah, the teeth was a problem, but I'm still indecisive. I think it. I mean, Cody, I don't think is gonna move either way to back to this thing, but it's just I think there's potential because nobody else has done this yet. It takes no time, That's what it is. No, don't play again.
Blender.
I'm deleting this file from your. Okay. Like, no time cost actually saves a significant amount of time. That's the whole point of this. That's not what's done with AI. I'm not going to tell you how it's done because I know the guy who's working on it, and it is. I thought it was done by AI. Everyone else thought it was done by AI. Not telling you how it's done though, because it is so cool. It's so cool. But yeah, it's like, if I have the opportunity, if I'm the only person on the planet who has access to this technology, do I use it? It would save time. It would save time of every production, a significant amount of time potentially too, and it would allow me to rely a little bit less on the AI art that I have in recent videos that goes in to make things not just PNGs to have a style, you know. It's almost VTubing, but it's not in the sense that it has. There's still a lot of stuff that has to be done by hand, but it's still fast. Like, the hardest thing in making a video is finding assets. That's the longest process. Am I hyping you right now? I mean, I was hyped. Nobody else has done this. Adobe can't do that shit. If you go and try Adobe's auto lip syncing function, it's garbage. And this thing is like, it's nearly perfect. Yeah, it's like, it's not mouth tracking. It is, because this is animation. It's not VTubing, it's auto lip syncing. I know people call it PNG tubing. There's a reason we do this, and it's just because it allows you to make stuff faster. You don't have to put a camera in front of your face. Unless you want to do that. I could do that if you want. I could just be me in front of a camera. I could do my best critical impression. Hey guys, it's me. It's my Charlie impression. I'm Charlie. Let's talk about things are bad. Things are bad that are bad. It's my Charlie. I've used VR chat thing once, or VTubing once before. Seaburger. I've already showed people it. I can't spell Seaburger right. Yeah, that's why I don't the Derpy Lizard notes why I don't know any VTubing thing. The amount of times, like, you'll see the joke of, is Tyler a VTuber now? It's the one thing of YouTube I want people to know. If you make a comment in a video, I've seen that comment 1,000 times before. No, Kate, honestly, it doesn't do that. I'm not gonna tell anybody how it works. I'm not telling anybody how this thing works. It's so cool, though. It's so cool. Okay, people are telling me Elon's considering... Elon... Okay, when he's talking, I gotta turn her off. When Elon considering charging for Twitter? Because that would mean that's... It's not... Do people... Does anyone have a link? It's a rumor. Unilad. Is Unilad a verifiable source? Floated the idea during a discussion with Israeli Prime Minister. The single most important reason that we're moving to have small monthly payments, because a bot costs a fraction of a penny, not or a tenth of a penny, but somebody even has to pay a few dollars or something's a minor amount. Effective costs bots is very high when you have a new payment method every time you have a new bot. So it would basically be a lower tier. I'm hoping it's like, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's a YouTube, Twitter Blue moves to $20 a month, and I'm hoping this service just to use it is like $15 a month. 15 a day. $15 a tweet would be fine with me. $30 a tweet. That's the thing. I think he wants to kill Twitter. Okay, let's see it. Let's see if this story is true. Elon daughter, communist. Elon blames Santa Monica school for turning daughter into communist. So, the theory here is that basically Twitter, alongside I guess this LA school, turned his daughter into a communist, and this is a way to get back at Twitter by basically destroying the platform and by showing who is actually just in it for the money. That's my theory. If he is the smartest man who has ever lived. If he's not, then it's just bad business decisions. But if you wanted to expose who's actually, that everybody who proclaims to not be greedy is just as greedy as the richest man on the planet, that is how you would do it. You would give them the opportunity to get that money, to get that Twitter Blue ad money, and then you'd you see what I'm saying? That's just a theory. I mean, that's the thing is with that's my personal headcanon right now. But again, it depends of whether Elon knows people. Is he that cognizant of people and knowing that, like, you would have to have the foresight of knowing every person who pretends to be above all of this is just going to sell out the moment you hand them a check for $1,000. You know, that's the question. And otherwise, you're just throwing away all your money. You are throwing away all your money. Which daughter? I think it was, I don't know, probably some airplane. I think her name was Helicopter. That's the thing is, I don't think Elon's that smart either. But if he was, it's not something I want to dismiss off the bat. Of like, maybe this is the one thing he is a genius at, is knowing that everyone's greedy. Maybe he's something special. Now, I hope he does just kill Twitter, though. Because, like, come on. That would kill Twitter. That's the whole... If that's the point, that's something I've been operating over the past few days, thinking, what if his intention is to kill Twitter? You know? I mean, most of the people that are doing this are, like... They're like journalists, generally. Who would be on the other side of the political spectrum as, say, an Elon Musk's in the cultural war, whatever thing. And it's like, is that his intention? Or is that just a side effect? And everybody's stupid and awful. Makes you think. Really makes you think. Elon was forced into buying Twitter. But that's the thing, is he didn't spend all of his money on Twitter. Apparently it has not killed the Elon hype train, apparently. Apparently people are still buying those Teslas. Everything seems kind of down today. Like, that's surprising to me. Because I was thinking it was going to be... That's when he bought Twitter. Right there. I saw Pepsi change their logo. Their new logo is amazing. I already have. Just watch the trailer. Wow, you got a really loud trailer for your Pepsi. So yeah, it's just like the old Pepsi logo, you know, the 2000s Pepsi logo. And that's what I like. I like, oh wait, you can't even see it. You can't even see it. It's this Pepsi. See that logo? That's a good logo. That's a good looking logo. It's strong. Very bold. Coming fall 2023. You really need an announcement trailer? Is that necessary? Oh wait, I like this. I like this. So Pepsi also continuously reinvents itself with brave marketing and product innovation. From creating its own television shows, exploring Web3. Web3. I need my Pepsi NFT. Can I buy a Pepsi NFT? Pepsi NFT. The Pepsi mic drop homepage. I don't really want to accept your cookies. You know what? I will. I'll take the virus. Welcome to the Pepsi mic drop. Pepsi has always been a brand with strong heritage in music and pop culture, so it's only fitting to bring that legacy into the new world of Web3 and NFTs, the metaverse, and beyond through the Pepsi mic drop. It's disgusting. Man. I wonder how much that is worth. How much do you think that's worth? There's no way any of these are worth a Pepsi. Wow. The Genesis collection. Mm-hmm. When was the last collection? Let's see. Did they make one in 2023? I don't know if they made a 2023 one. I think they just... Yeah. So, man, you're really pushing the limits. Let's see if Coca-Cola did NFTs. Coca-Cola, if they didn't... Nope. I hate both of them. I hate both of them now. You know? Pepsi NFT. I can't believe this is real. Masterpiece collection fetches more than 500,000 in Coinbase drop. Okay. See. Wait. That means the entire collection. The entire value of your platform. Of your Web3 platform is $500,000. That's it. It probably cost you $500,000 to market that, to roll that out. That's not a success. That's not money. That's for a company like this. I'm talking more Coca-Cola Friendship loot box NFT. Price history. Somebody paid a 217. Do you know how much 217 Ethereum is? Let's see what that is. Log first price. I gotta see this. I gotta see this. 2021. I don't know how much it was worth in 2021. It was worth like $4,000. what, $2,000? So what, this was worth like 400 grand for the Coca-Cola Friendship Loot Box NFT, which was probably bought by the same guy who made it, right? Coca-Cola probably bought it. Yeah, I'm assuming total volume, one owner. It's not even an official Coca-Cola. So it's one dude who bought his own NFT for 217 Ethereum and tried to resell it for $400,000. The tax write-off. Well, it's the same scam that what's those guys of Heritage Auctions, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, alleged scam. NFTs, no, because Beanie Babies are worth something right now. Like, if you go on eBay and you go buy a Beanie Baby, it's worth something. Yeah, this not so, maybe, I can't say anything too bad because I don't want to get sued, but, stay away. Yeah, Beanie Babies are far more worthwhile than an NFT. Like, I don't know if any of you played my Discord game Blumpo, but it was just NFTs, but you didn't charge real money, just to kind of show, you know, you can just do it without the blockchain. If somebody has Google spreadsheets. Nobody's talking about NFTs anymore. I think we're in the post NFT world now. We're so far, we're done with the NFTs. I'd say it died like 2 years ago. Beanie Babies value, eBay, on eBay. Look how much a Beanie Baby's worth. $9 for a Beanie Baby. Gobbles the turkey. I don't know, $4 for Gobbles the turkey's not too bad. Right? I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. FTX kind of showed that all of crypto was a Ponzi scheme. You know, it was the speculative market. It's never going to end well. It just can't end well. And that's the problem, is digital assets. You can't create value. You can't really create that kind of value sustainably for, you know, unless you had some open source platform. And what they're describing was just the internet. If you want to think of an NFT, it's like owning a, you know, it has to have some intrinsic value, which would be like a website. You know, like IGN. IGN itself, it could be an NFT. Yeah, I don't think I've ever considered Beanie Babies much. I think they have value beyond being a speculative asset. I don't think anything can replace fiat. Is that how we pronounce it? That's how I pronounce it. Nothing can replace it, because you need the thing that gives money value is the at least as I argue, is the value of, you know, the global GDP and your country's willingness to, you know, to give it value. Post NFT world, post Gobbles the turkey world. Wow. Handmade in China. Handmade. Authentic handmade Chinese Gobbles the turkey. $4. You could use NFTs to track installs. That's true. That's actually a use for it. I always say what gives money value is the fact that it's the fact that the government can say, oh, you don't like that a dollar is a dollar? Well, we have a big old gun. We have a robot that can come and break your house down, you know, and kill you. That's what gives it value. Talk about sports cards. I don't know, Beanie Babies are pretty interesting. Our military might. I'm gonna go on a quick, I'm gonna say 2-minute break. And you're gonna get to watch my opening, my AI opening that I work so hard on. as I go refill my tea. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. I had to refill my tea. Oh. What a challenge. I'm sorry about the delay. I'm starting to form my own opinions. Let's see what the news is. What happened when I was getting during my break? Nothing. So I don't know if you guys saw this. There's a Disney selling a collection of 100 animated films for only $1,500. $1,500. I'm not gonna lie. Doesn't seem like a great deal. Certificate of authenticity. Like, I know these are like boutique items, basically, where it's like they buy this as like a boutique thing. The 100 wasn't Disney 100th anniversary like last year, so maybe this was planned for earlier. NFT but real. $1,500. I think it's for like collectors, honestly. I don't think any actual human being buys these things. You get Brother Bear, you get Bolt. Oh, you get Bolt, guys. The biggest of Disney adults. I'd assume so. Even then, I heard somebody like say it could be like a wedding gift, but I'm like, I don't know. That seems. Does anybody really want Blu-ray discs of their Disney movies? Is that a thing the kids are still using? The Blu-rays? This makes 3D All-Stars look like the best deal ever. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't imagine it's supposed to sell a lot of units. Very odd, but an actual bear broke into Disney World. That's great. Sadly, I doubt that's nearly as. Nope, that is great. It's just they're going after the bear. Hope we had a good time. Hello, Kino Corner. Yeah, it has been a while. I haven't been streaming these past few weeks. Been playing Starfield. Been taking a little bit of a streaming break. It's also, I think even with videos, I wanted to, like, there's so many topics this week I want to do. I want to do a video on the Unity stuff. But it's like, if I would have done that video, it would have aged poorly. I did the Nintendo Switch thing, and that video kind of already aged poorly. And it really does bring in that question of what is, you know, what's Whimsu here for? You know, I'm trying to get these videos out, but now it's going to be at least another, unless some big news happens, and it happens on the exact moment I can work on it, you know, in between other videos. Yeah, the news changes every day, and that's the problem. It's like live streaming becomes the ideal format to cover the news, but obviously not everyone watches the live streams. It is 100 movies, yeah. You've been playing Witcher 3. I don't know the release dates of upcoming video games, so I should look into that. I don't really plan on playing too much else other than, I'm probably going to play Starfield the rest of the year, but I also haven't played almost any of the big games of this year. Should note that. So my backlog is. Let's see, what day is today? We're at the. So we got Lies of P coming out. It's already out, isn't it? No, it wasn't out. It's not out yet. The game was released on September 19th, but it's September 18th. It wasn't released yet. Mortal Kombat 1, which it's like that. Any other time, if it was just the random middle time of the year, that'd be great. Now I'm just not feeling it so much. Microsoft Paint added support for layers. Oh, that changes everything. I don't know if you guys saw I don't want to get too distracted, but it's Procreate introduced a new application. I talk about here in a bit. Like, honestly, the big game for me, I guess, what is it? I don't plan on buying Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm not really into the OG style of Assassin's Creed games. I'm in that unique category. Forza, I'll probably play it, but not this year. I guess there's Hot Wheels 2, Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man and Mario Wonder have to make a decision. How far into Starfield am I? I got married. I got married in Starfield. I tried F-Zero 99. I couldn't get into it. Like, I love the original F-Zero. I'm not really into the Battle Royale stuff. I married Sarah. I have a basically perfect, almost perfect, like, good run. Yeah. Which is not easy unless you have empath as a trait. As far as I can tell. GTA 6, I mean, it's coming out like 2-3 years. 2 years, probably. It'll be out when it's out. They said. Sonic, I'll play the new Sonic if that's good. Ghost Runner 2, I don't know. I got so excited for the first one. You beat it as a hero. I'm not even close to beating it. I only get to play like an hour or so a night, so I'm moving really slow through it. But I still love it right now. City Skylines 2, I didn't play the first one. I don't play a lot of video games now that I think about it. Why do I do this? Why do I talk about video games? I didn't play Sonic Frontiers, the not story update. I didn't play Sonic Frontiers. I only was interested in the new Sonic, to be completely honest, because I don't think it's made by Sonic Team. Maybe. I am not a fan of Sonic Team. If there's a new GTA, it would probably be like Fortnite, yeah. It like we're talking about Take-Two here. I expect GTA 6 you'll probably have a good single player game, and it'll probably be more, you know, online driven. I've never really cared about Rockstar games or GTA games. I could just never get into them. I mean, I'm sure I'll play it when it comes out, maybe try it out, but I've never really, in terms of Sonic, the new one looks, what's in Sonic Super Stars. Let's see, is it made by Sonic Team? That's the question. Is it made by Sonic Team? See, it's somebody else. Just somebody else's name. Gives me so much confidence in it. That's all I need. Project Zomboid. People have told me. I've been playing Bro-Tato on my Switch a little bit. Arzest was founded by the designer of Sonic. I mean, it's better than it being actual Sonic Team though, right? You know? I just think Sonic Team in the last like 3... I think the last one was received quite well. But Sonic Mania, I think, is the best Sonic game that isn't Sonic R. Crew Motorfest. Yeah, I heard about Crew Motorfest. I don't know, is it worth playing if you already have the Horizons? I think RimWorld, that's not free to play, right? Yeah, RimWorld should be fine. Honestly, to be honest, like, I know there's some studios that are going to do like they're gonna delist games maybe out of protest, but it does, the way it looks like to me, like, let's see, Unity, you have to pay for retro old game sales. I've been seeing everybody say you have to pay for old for games like retroactively. I haven't actually seen that stated by like a legitimate source. Am I wrong there? Because it looks like it's 20. Is that retroactively? I was assuming that was installs over the install threshold. Standard monthly rate. So I was assuming this was after that point. I was assuming this was not like... So, for example, if you have a Unity personal subscriber and have a game that made $200,000 and it's $200,000 by January 1st, you'll be subject to the fees only on any downloads made after January 1st. So it's not retroactive. I don't know why people were saying it was retroactive. That's the big problem with any news. And I've noticed this a lot recently. If there's anything that can be sort of like a controversy on the internet, you'll just see a giant, like, some big piece of information will always be missing. And that was it. They were talking about, like, oh, old installs, you know, if they had a game that was ever sold on by Unity, they're going to be demanding money. It's like, I haven't seen a single official source say that. And looking at it, it doesn't sound like there was. It was like, who said that first? Who knows? Old installs count towards the threshold, but it's not, it's, you know. To solve this problem, every developer would realistically have to not make their game free to play. And also, but the bigger issue is like Game Pass. Game Pass or like piracy, all that stuff is more of an issue. You know, that's where the big issues come in. AC Unity. AC Unity is like 10 years old now, isn't it? I'm gonna say it's, let's see, how old is it? It's 9 years old. That's amazing. Assassin's Creed Unity is 9 years old. The ear in Disney was actually a pigeon. Bear. There you go. Let me see. Go The Verge, but The Verge is pretty, Hello, Zane. Former Surface Chief Panos Panay is reportedly heading to Amazon. Thank you, Harrison. I like the live news format. I wish I could cut these down into very digestible news segments, and I might even do that. Devs could charge 15 cents for the install. The problem, I think, is more like Game Pass. So, like, say you have a game on Game Pass or like PlayStation Plus, and somebody, you know, downloads your game, or they just don't like you, you know, say like somebody just doesn't like your studio, they're just gonna start installing their game, you know, uninstalling. There's a lot of questions. I did see the new Knowledge Husk video. It was informative or something. So yeah, the dude who makes like Surface, he's leaving, he's gone. I was thinking about cutting the live VODs into highlights. The problem is I don't have an editor, and that actually does take time. It takes like a pretty significant amount of time. That'd be the only issue. And if I did have an editor, it wouldn't pay enough. The views wouldn't be enough to pay for it. No, this isn't going to be, this isn't really, this has all been retroactively done already. They probably, it doesn't sound like they're gonna do this, and if they do it, it's probably gonna be for 100,000 plus. I don't think this. I think the internet has actually made this into a bigger, because it was a big problem, but the internet has turned this into more of a reactionary, hyperbolic thing than anything else, and that just seems to be like the standard. I don't know if it's a recent thing, but it just seems to be how the internet does everything now. Like everything is, I guess it is always, it's been that way. I was talking about my video. If you saw my last video on Knowledge Husk, it was the VFX artists in the bankruptcy, the VFX artists for the movie Life of Pi accepting their Oscar, and at the end of their speech, they talk about how they're going bankrupt. And the music starts to play, and everybody on the internet was saying how, like, you know, the Oscars was cutting them off because they're talking about how bad the working conditions are in unionization. It's like, but if you watch that clip, clearly that's not what happened. You know, they were talking for 2 minutes, and the music starts to play, and then as the music's playing, they start talking about their financial troubles. You know, it's, you would have to watch the clip, but somehow all these reliable sources change it. They change the news just slightly, so, you know, it forms a more compelling narrative than, yes, it's awful that, you know, the VFX team for the Oscars is going bankrupt, but they have to turn it into more of a story. You know, it has to be more interesting, even if it's not necessarily more factual. Do you think someone would edit your stuff for free / experience? For exposure? No, I wouldn't get anybody to edit my stuff for exposure. I could make more videos. The problem is the time consumption of my other channels. If I didn't have any other channels, I could I could basically get a video out every single day. But the problem is every other day I'm working on the other channels. I don't know, Derpy Lizard. Tom could be onto something. If you guys want to, if you want to do slave labor for me. I think that was the plan for Blumpo. That was the original plan for my Discord. It was just gonna be a slave labor camp by the end. Well, this I wish I could get more videos out on here, but it's like the videos I want to make, like E3 1996, it's gonna take too long to make. I got a video on Cody's channel I gotta get out, part 2 that I'm not gonna call part 2, and then I have for Knowledge Husk. It's really about trying to improve the quality as much as possible in a short period of time in terms of the visuals, and that's gonna, it's a little rough right now with having to rely so much on the mid-journey generations, because it's not even saving time. It's just like I could get a Mickey Mouse PNG or just draw 1,000 Mickey Mouse copies, but I don't know. Knowledge Husk, and I work with my brother on Alternate History Hub. My tea is good now. I have a thermos for my tea, so, like, I can drink it throughout the day. So Surface is basically dead, but, like, here's the thing about the Surface. I don't want to sound harsh, but, like, for me, the Surface was always this kind of weird product that it wanted to like, really capture the whole creative crowd as a product. But if you look at the latency for drawing on stuff like this, it's so bad. It's so slow compared to, like, even like a $300 iPad. And I think that's just because of how Windows functions, and Windows not built from the ground up. You know? Would I do a podcast? If I had a podcast host, my brother wouldn't probably have the time, and I don't know what we talk about. You know? I don't know if we share many interests. I'd have to ask him. I think Surface was it, well, or enterprise? I mean, some people are saying it has, at least maybe it was good. I think overall the Surface sales have been down. Bills 2023. That's not, yeah. Why is Microsoft happy that sales are down? Well, I don't really give a shit if everyone and their dog has a podcast. I don't give two shits about that. If I want to do a podcast, I'll do it. I quit listening to the internet to dictate my decisions on content. I tried that in the past. It's not very helpful. You heard of miniature soft serve ice cream business named Microsoft? I think they have a chance to take off. How many podcasts are there? Just how many? That's the question. There are 3 million podcasts. How many YouTube channels are there? Wow. You know, I'm gonna say a lot more people have YouTube channels. Let's see, how many YouTube channels? How many YouTube channels? Over, let's do 100k subs, because that's what this channel is. That can't be right. That seems a little low. 320,000, that's it? I need to get Knowledge Husk into the million range. If that's true, I'll be fancy. Number of channels with more than 10 subscribers. Number of channels on YouTube with more than 10 subscribers. 90% of channels never get to 10,000 subscribers. That's not in. That is. Yeah, I'm not surprised. So there's 28 million with 100 or more, which I think that's probably the most realistic number of channels of like. So if you have over 100, it's unlikely you just got your friends to subscribe to you. I've never had a video hit 10 million. I want to be in the more than 100 millions. Yeah, most channels are made to comment, yeah. Let's see what this Kong's called. It's called Blop Bloop Blop Bleep Blop by Blop Bloop Blop Bleep Blop. That's what music is now. Welcome to the future, old man. Oh man, shit, I forgot. We could talk about the iPhone. Talk about the iPhone. So the iPhone 15 was announced. Now, normally I don't really talk about the iPhone, because my opinion on Apple is that I need to use them for Mac OS to make my videos, because it's the only way I can produce my videos and to produce my music. And I have to use iPad because it's by far the best drawing tablet on the market. But I've never had a need for an iPhone, really. I just don't need one. So if I usually will buy an Android, because an Android's just gives me a different experience, because I already have you know, an iOS device. But the iPhones are getting a little scary. Do the big iPhone article that's been sweeping the news from IGN. Apple answers all of our iPhone 15 Pro question. It's going to be the best game console. Okay, so if you don't know, For the first time kind of ever, natively, a game will be running on a phone when it's releasing on console. Which is Assassin's Creed Mirage. It supports ray tracing as well, because Apple's now trying with their GPUs, which is kind of scary. Frankly, it is actually scary. If you're running Death Stranding natively, Resident Evil 4 Remake natively, with what they've shown off is generally visuals comparable to that of a modern, of a PS5 or Xbox Series platform, that is a little concerning. Jacobs, thank you so much. You like the Cintiq better than an iPad? I can't do it. I just can't do it. So the big question now my theory is this, and I don't want to come off as a little bit conspiratorial. I don't want to come off as a little bit Alex Jones. They're turning the frogs gay, but hear me out. Civ based, that's the thing, they're the full games. It sounds like these are the full actual game. How that will work with the size of these files, 80 gigs, whatever it is, that could be a concern. But I think this is Apple's way of defeating the cloud gaming industry that they see coming up with, like Microsoft, because most of Apple's value really does come from like microtransactions on the App Store. Something like cloud gaming threatens that, because people could pay Microsoft directly as opposed to paying Apple. But if they have their iPhone is their platform and it can run, modern games, it would defeat a lot of the purpose of having a cloud streaming platform at all. And I don't know, that could be their end game. That could be Apple's end game to get around what has been kind of a war between them and Microsoft, because they really don't like the idea of cloud gaming. The EU and India legislation already did a huge blow to the App Store. Exactly. We're getting to a point where Apple is going to have to start competing, whereas before they never had to. And mobile game ads have convinced me the best games are on smartphones. Like, the thing is, this doesn't sound like it is... This is like a mobile version of Assassin's Creed. This is just Assassin's Creed Mirage. It starts to raise the question, what if, let's say, 6 years down the line, let's say Microsoft is like, hey, we're going to release Elder Scrolls 6 on Xbox, PC, and the iPhone, or Android. That's something I don't think a lot of people have considered. But since pricing has gone is pretty extreme on these new devices, they can fit in a lot of power on these 3nm chips comparatively. What was Tim Sweeney's response to AAA on iPhone? I think he screamed. I think he just screamed. Who would want to pay $60 to play the next Resident Evil or Starfield or whatever on their iPhone instead of a console or PC? The idea is they wouldn't even buy a console. They already would own a phone. So why would they buy a console? Why would they pay $500 for a console if they can just play it on their phone? And then I don't know if you've used you can AirPlay to a TV. You could do that with minimal latency, which is possible. There would be no reason to actually buy a console. And it would be a pretty sneaky move from Apple to kind of take over the game industry because let's say 10 years from now, the PlayStation 7 releases and the new iPhone releases, and the last 3 iPhones are more powerful than the new PlayStation. What happens then? I know there's a difference with, how you can always have more powerful hardware in these, not relying, I'm sorry. When you have a portable device, you have more constraints with how cooling and power and all that. But when you're talking about smaller and smaller chipsets that they can charge $1,200 for these devices, that That is genuinely going to be a concern for the console industry of like, what if the mobile market comes back, but it's not as, I use Edge. We've had this conversation. What if mobile gaming comes back, but it's not as like mobile games, it's just by people using their controllers, you know? iPhone, like, you can use a DualSense or use Xbox controller, right? With your iPhone? Connect your Xbox wireless game controller to your Apple device. Yeah, you can just do that. I think this is Apple's way to get around that potential of cloud gaming ever taking off. Because if there'd be no purpose to cloud gaming if you could do it natively, and that would mean that consumers aren't paying those fees to Microsoft, you know, because Apple doesn't get royalties if you pay $20 a month to Microsoft for Game Pass, but they would get that cut if you buy a $60 game on their platform. You know, it's gonna be interesting. You got games on your phone? Well, they don't even need a dock like the Switch. Like right now, you can just connect a USB. I already have, like for my iPad, the way I watch TV when I'm like eating food or whatever, is I just take my iPad, connect it to a USB-C adapter, and it plugs right into the TV. You know, zero latency. The tech already exists. It's just, you know, if 100, you know, more people buy an iPhone every year than the entire console generations combined. Like, let's check this out. How many iPhones sold in 2020? This is gonna be low numbers. 220. Oh, that's not good. I need per year in just the year. So 232 million iPhones were sold in 2022 alone. Now, for comparison, over the entire lifetime of the PS4, it is sold 117 million units. So in the entire like 10-year run, the PS4 sold half of what an iPhone will sell in 1 year. You know. Well, Apple has bad blood against Microsoft. Yeah, but I think a lot of it is because of that cloud gaming thing. Like, Apple won't allow cloud gaming on iOS. I don't know if they changed this, but yeah, Apple said no Xbox cloud gaming on iOS. And I think this is Microsoft's way of, or Apple's way, because Apple already has, I don't think people realize how powerful these CPUs are in these iPhones. They're really overkill. And they're overkill to such a point where it's like, there's no reason to have this kind of power on your phone. But if you're trying to just secretly enter the gaming market, which isn't even that big, but it would cut out any potential of Microsoft to you know, open their own storefront. Alan says, I think of anyone, this will hurt Nintendo the most. Nintendo's main market is people who are casuals, who aren't hardcore gamers. This will allow Apple to get current gen games on mainstream devices. I absolutely agree. I think the only thing right now in Nintendo's favor is the new iPhones will be prohibitively expensive, but like, you know, if you go to like, let's say let's just go see what the prices are for an old iPhone. See what the prices are. Don't get my location. I think if they could have the iPhone's neural processing unit, well, the problem is like they're already operating at pretty decent resolutions, right? So let's just say, imagine we're talking 10 years from now. We're talking devices that are $249, $349, you know. Say they are low-end iPhones, $500, you know, whatever. that's where it's going to be a concern, because somebody's going to be more willing to pay $500 for a smartphone than $500 for a box that just plays games. People who are casual but care enough to not go completely mobile. I know what you mean, yeah. Well, with iPhones, it's like, what was it, the Apple A17 Pro benchmark versus AMD. I know it's different numbers, but like, we're talking about, you know, Apple's new phone chipset is significantly better than my $4,000 computer CPU, you know, from 2 years ago. We're talking about this right here. That is like, just unless you have the best desktop processors of right now, you know, the phone is more powerful. That's a little concerning. And combining that with the GPU, even in any limited capacity, is always the biggest concern. Nintendo is evolving into an entertainment company, according to Doug Bowser. Oh, that'll be... Nintendo is evolving into an entertainment. Yeah. I mean, I'll look at the multi-thread performance. Oh. I'm not doing this as like a man, Apple's beating the ass of these, you know, PC bros. I don't give two shits about that. I'm more talking for the examples of when it comes to what we'll be using in like 10 years. It's hard to compare it to the AMD. I don't know if this can be right. Jeez. I didn't turn on ad block. Edge forced me to do it. I don't know. So yeah, it's definitely going to say the A17 is going to have limits with multi-threading. We're going to see with the performance, but yeah, let's check this out. Nintendo's evolving into an entertainment company, according to Doug Bowser, with gaming as the nucleus of the overall business model. That sounds horrifying. Oh no. I'm not going to convince you to get an Apple product. I buy them because like I couldn't do my work without them. I've had so many people that are like, man, why do you buy Apple? Why don't you just... And I'm like, well, I can't edit my videos or you know, make my music on Windows. And they're like, but there's this program by Adobe and you only have to pay $200 a month to get it. I'm like, okay, but I've spent 10,000 hours learning this program, and the one you're showing me cost several hundred more times that price, and I don't know how to use it, so... Unity dumb. So, Nintendo has mentioned on a number of occasions in recent years how it wants to go beyond video games, and the company's American president, Doug Bowser, has now reiterated this during an interview with the Washington Post. Bowser mentioned how Nintendo is currently evolving into being an entertainment company, with gaming as the nucleus of the overall business model. Nintendo is ultimately competing for people's entertainment and time. Engagement and exposure to the company's IP is always the main priority when introducing new devices and platforms. I think this is a very concerning thing, but I've suggested this in the past of where is, because all these companies need to grow. Microsoft's strategy is the mobile play, the third-party publisher play. Sony's is the live service play, try to just move into live service gaming, and Nintendo is entertainment company, moving to become a Disney. You know, they want to be a Disney, and that's how they want to maintain growth. What do I use to make videos? I use Final Cut Pro. But yeah, this, I'm going to get to the previous comments here in a sec. But this is what I'm scared about Nintendo, is that the future of that growth is going to be just Disneyfy the Nintendo brand, you know? Like, people might like the Mario movie now, and people might be you know, they want that Zelda movie, but are you going to be happy if every 6 months you're getting a new one? Parasect says, as an iPhone user, there's way more people that complain about Apple fanboys than there are actual fanboys. I don't know. I think on the internet there is, but on the internet, that's more of a... The internet sort of promotes, I think, a more hipster-esque mentality, let's call it. And for some reason, we've associated Android as, like, the underdog, even though they're both just massive corporations. I'm gonna put on, like, Bossa Nova or something. Or Jazz. But for me personally, it's like, I could not care less what platform somebody uses, as long as they don't complain. I've had so many people complain, like, think they know better what platform I should use when they don't even work in my same, like, industry. Thank you so much, Ryan the Red. What's the price for Final Cut Pro? Let's check. Final Cut Pro price. I'm gonna say 200, 300. 300 bucks. And then Logic Pro is... $200. Adobe pricing is... Adobe is the worst, just the worst. Yeah, look at these prices. If you're doing like all the basic apps, that's still $54 a month, and they're not designed to work well with the new Apple chips either. So they're kind of like a Windows only solution, you know. Well, the thing is, Sudden Zephyrs, it's not that the CEOs don't realize that infinite growth isn't a thing. Their goal is to grow until they get out. They know it's not sustainable, but you just need to, what are you going to do? Just say, oh, my job's useless, because someone else is going to promise growth, you know? I think all companies are dying, Chili Glock, in terms of like because like Sony's moving to live services. I think that's concerning for, like, you know, the next, if Killzone ever comes back, it's just gonna be a battle royale. It's like that kind of shit. With Microsoft, there's a concern of, are they even gonna be in the console market in 9 years? Is there a reason for them to? And then for Nintendo, of course, if they're an entertainment company, no longer with the original, you know, family or Iwata, there's no reason to keep continuing to produce hardware, really. I mean, they could just, if they need to get that next level of growth. Will Nintendo ever port to PC? I doubt it. I think they're more likely to port to other consoles and mobile first. I think mobile's the most likely. I love Starfield, Bingus. I don't know if you're trying to trigger me. The worst timeline would be the Illumination Earthbound movie. Yeah, the problem for me is, like, I have to drag in assets. So, like, an average video is thousands of assets. And on Windows, you can't have, like, okay, so the way Windows files work is you have your file explorer right here, and you can change the views, and you can change all that stuff, but it's not nearly as intuitive to just take a file and drag it over perfectly into, you know, the application that you want. That's the one thing I use my Apples for. Yeah, Android users get bullied for the green text bubbles. You don't like it, Bingus? I don't know if you're just trying to troll, I'm gonna just block you. I don't need that shit. What's wrong with green? Well, what Apple does, it's pretty genius marketing strategy, is they have everything's blue if you send it through iMessage, and there's a practical effect to that. If you send a message from one iMessage user to another, you can use Wi-Fi to send that message. You don't need to use mobile data. But if somebody sends it through Android, it's green. And it like builds a resentment for people because it's more difficult to contact them. The audio quality is going to be worse during calls, and it like builds a resentment towards people if they don't get the right one, you know. And it's like, what's this music? It's jazz. It's just called jazz. Put on Pizza-tastic. With Apple, I mostly see Apple as like, I've never really, some people call them techno jewelry. I don't necessarily, I think you could make that argument more so 10 years ago. Even then there was always a use case, because if you're in a creative field, if you go into like a professional audio booth, more likely than not you're gonna run into like an Apple, you know, device. It's not as common to always run into a Windows, or editing movies. You know, some people will use Adobe, some people will be more comfortable with Final Cut, but that's usually the big market for Mac products, and I think Apple's recognized that, and it's a weird enterprise creative situation. Apple is definitely too common to be luxury. I think it's something people tell themselves. They don't have to come to the conclusion that none of these are tech. Like, if you want to buy a Samsung Galaxy Fold, it's going to cost more than any iPhone, you know? So it's not like techno jewelry. It's just people have that perception of brands. Apple's great for creative fields. I don't know if I'd use it for anything else. Like, I'd use it for, that's the thing, is the only reason I really have a computer is for creative fields. There's not really a situation where I'm like, man, I just need to, you know, I don't know what other use cases everyone has different use cases, but like for me, for my Windows, it's basically this big old computer for play video game, you know. Accept the job from Apple. Yeah, Procreate. We gotta talk about Procreate Dreams for anybody interested. This is gonna be pretty big. So if you don't know, Procreate's like, it's how I make all my art. It's the standard application for animation in iOS, and for a lot of people now. But it's always been an app that you just draw pictures with, and now it's moved into like an animation app that's launching next month. And that's what's exciting me. It makes me think, I'm hoping my iPad can actually run it. Let's see, what iPads does Procreate Dreams support? I'm gonna assume mine's does. Let's just Procreate. I don't know, my iPad looks good and just probably new enough. Yeah, they don't have Procreate on any computer, I don't think, yet. Let's see. I think it's just at iPad. I don't even think it's on yeah, it's not even on Mac. Oh. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate name for the business, Procreate. You know? Why not make a Mac version? I assume it's because the only way you'd be using it on the Mac would be you would be connecting your iPad through screen share as your drawing tablet, which is just less convenient than using, because like if I want to export a file, I can just from Procreate press save and save it to my Mac, as opposed to, you know, I don't have to transfer the file or anything else. It just instantly saves it over there. I think Procreate's just, it's just an unfortunate name. Maybe it's clever. Well, that's the thing, is I just save the files straight to my Mac. That's all I do. Because I take the file, like, as soon as I finish the file, I just save it on AirDrop into my Mac. And it's really nice. It has sped up the workflow. I used to not use AirDrop. I used to use just like iMessage or something to transfer it over. Is terrible. Or not iMessage, Facebook Messenger. Apple reveals their new high-end computer named Big Mac. Felipe, that's good. The thing is, I don't really see them as a product for gaming at all. I had a friend who bought it for gaming a long time ago. I was like, why'd you buy that for game? Like, I bought, because everyone has a different use. I think when we talk about computers, a lot of people have different uses for computers, but it's like, for me, if I can't, my Windows, the only thing I can do for my videos on my Windows is, you know, I used to use Unreal Engine, but that's too time consuming for average YouTube videos. Blender's nice, but again, it's too hard to transfer the files over in a reasonable time manner. So that kind of just leaves it with, like, you know, I guess like I'm using Windows right here for the stream as an HDMI output. Elon Musk wants to give people the ability to call other people on Twitter. Was that from the interview? I knew a kid in high school who thought Macs were the best gaming computer. Oof. I mean, yeah, it's like, because they don't have now it's different, especially, like, they are more substantial than they were, but even still, I don't think, I'm not going to recommend anybody buy an Apple product for gaming. It really is, like, you know, if that's not your field, though, I can understand, like, for a lot of people that don't work in if they don't work in a creative field, a Mac probably seems useless, but it's like, I can't do Linux. Linux has, I don't think there's any use I could ever get out of Linux. You know, I literally just couldn't. High school's the prime time to be a company shill. Honestly, yeah. Linux is good for gaming. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I couldn't give, Linux is like, I look at it as an operating system, like, in theory, I feel like it's something that's good in theory, but, you know, it's not for me. I don't think there's anything it can do for my life except make it harder. Linux has less bloat, yeah, but Linux can't, you know, it doesn't support, like, any of the features I want to use. That's the thing, Linux is great for server host. If you're in, like, IT, it's great, but if you're in a creative field, it's literally just, it's as useless as, like, saying, I'm gonna use my Texas Instruments calculator to write a story, you know? In terms of, like, creative apps, though, it's pretty much a useless thing. I don't think it'll ever be even remotely, like, again, Windows has been trying for decades to catch up to, like, Final Cut. If you don't work in a creative field, it's like, it might be hard to understand, but it's like, most people that work in those fields, you can't, if you spend 10, 20,000 hours learning, you know, a program, you're not gonna move over unless it does something so extreme and like, if there was a Linux video editing app that I could press a button and it would just edit the video for me, then sure, I'd move over. But I don't think there's gonna be anything like that anytime soon, you know? Yeah, Mark, I get that, but if you're doing it for like a job, if you're doing like, you know, a creative job, it's a little bit harder to use Linux. Like, that's for me is like, that's the main goal is, cause I don't really, I know everyone has issues with Windows or they have issues with Mac, and I tried Linux once. It's just, if it's not more convenient, even if there's the moral victory, it's not worth it for me. Macs definitely appeal to affluent casual consumers. I think so as well. I think for people that don't want... I'm not gonna lie, if you spend the same amount of money on an Apple product or a Windows product, I still feel a Mac, and you don't have a specific use. If you're not a gamer, the Mac's gonna be the better option. And I say this as somebody who has spent a lot of time with a lot of different products. If you just want to go and check your email and watch YouTube, if you buy a $500 Windows, you might get frustrated in how slow that Windows actually is. You know. So it's like, I have my Windows laptop. Don't get me wrong, it's nice, but it's surprising how slow it is in comparison to my Mac that costs 1/3 the price. Which is really weird. That's something I always wanted to talk about, is like, there's this perception of Apple as a status symbol, but Apple's cheaper now than generally the Windows competition. If you buy, I think the most expensive Apple product, most overpriced, would be like an Apple MacBook. Like a MacBook is really, because you're getting a decently powerful computer, but $1,200 you're basically paying for the thinness in the screen. A $1,200, you know, comparable Windows, again, two different devices, but I always tell people just buy the Mac Mini. The Mac stand, the reason for the Mac stand, I know that was a meme. That's for like, apparently those are like industry standard prices. Macs aren't a great value compared to Windows machines. No, I disagree, Mark. My Mac cost $800, or no, what was it, $700. It outperforms my $4,000 Windows, or at least the same year, in most tasks that I need it to do, except for gaming. Think about that. I think a lot of people who talk about Apple don't use it for like a living. And it's the same with like Windows. Like, I know there's a lot of Mac people that are like, Macs can do everything a Windows can. It's like, no, there's surprisingly a reason people buy both. Who would have guessed? You can't play games on it. There you go. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, for me, it's about work. It's about, can you get work done with the product? And if I can get work done on a product, like, I'm gonna probably have to buy a new Mac though, because if you are working in, like right now, I can't export in 4K. I'm starting to push my computer to its absolute limits. It's a little old, which sucks. Almost like all three operating systems have upsides and downsides. Does Apple Silicon make Macs cheaper? I think they make them cheap. It makes them cheaper now, yeah. Like, if you want to buy a Mac Mini, this is a pretty exceptionally good deal for like a Mac user. So it's like, and you're not gonna get that kind of power, especially this, if you had, like, cause I think I bought one of these a while back, and I just have my own external SSD. And it's like, I know for a PC gamer it won't seem like much, but like for video editing, real men make their own OS. What do you do with old computers you never use again? I don't have too many of those, to be honest. Like, I guess they kind of just go in the closet, because any computers I have that are older, like, especially I think with the Mac side, once a Mac becomes outdated, it is pretty much useless. With Windows, there's a little bit of a novelty, you know, just a little bit of a novelty, but I think the thing is, most of the Apple versus Windows or operating system war, it's literally just people in different job fields. If you talk to somebody in Linux, because like when I went to college for computer engineering for just a little bit, I wasn't there too long, but you could tell the wars were pretty simple in how things broke down. If somebody was a gamer trademark, they were pro Windows. If they were like an IT, they were on Linux, and if they were creative, they were for Mac, and that was it. And people would argue the pros and cons, and each of them were completely irrelevant because it was just, what do you want to use it for? You can argue like somebody's making the wrong purchase. Like if somebody's spending $2,000 on a Mac to play games, then yeah, they're probably making a pretty objectively bad purchase. But if you're spending $2,000 on a Windows to, or let's say, $2,000 on Windows to make music, and you're just starting out, that might not go as well at the same time. I don't think Apple needs gaming. I think they're moving into gaming now, but I don't know. That's not really... even if Mac supported gaming, I wouldn't play games on my Mac because it would just eat up my hard drive space. I need to work. Fanboys as usual, yeah. Everyone's always a fan. Well, the thing is, because people want to associate, I use this operating system, so I'm smarter than the other people that use that operating system, not realizing that other people have different, like, things they use it for. And the only way to get around that is you just start, like, throwing out words in a field they don't understand. I think my go-to is I always say, like, if someone's like, oh, you use a Mac? That's so gross. I'm like, oh, I do because the latency of my DAW is significantly better than on Windows. And I know they won't know what that means. So it's just like an easy it's an I win button. I said big words. They didn't know. I'm smart. Yeah. I've heard so, like, I want to do a video because I've been working on I did a video here about the console war, but I want to do a video about actual brand loyalty and what drives people to it. And what it seems to be is I know I'm kind of talking out my ass here. That's the wrong one. Get my tea. I think Android and Mac OS are Unix. I don't think they're Linux. Let's see. Dunning-Kruger effect. So Dunning-Kruger effect is a concept in cognitive bias. This is not the best graph to show it off. I want the mean graph. So the Dunning-Kruger effect is an interesting concept that you could see in pretty much any... It's basically this idea that the more confident somebody is in their abilities, they usually underestimate their knowledge in it. Now, this gets misinterpreted as the stupider somebody is, the more confident they are, which is not necessarily true. But it's that you will, as you learn more about any given topic, you're confident, like say you're learning about game development for the first time, you'll slowly start to think you know everything and everything and everything until you get to the point where you realize you just don't know anything, and then you keep going up from there, and then you hit that point, and then you'll still never hit that level because you'll never be aware of that. When it comes to brand loyalty, everybody who hits that point gets stuck right here. The people who are, truck fanatics or phone fanatics for their specific brand, they don't know enough to get down here, but they're at there. And it's always a scary, because for most people, it's not like everybody uniquely is, everyone wants to imagine they're down here or they're over here. But in reality, for any field that you enter as you're learning, you're going to be on this, and it's very hard to just get straight over there. You can do this, but you're, you know, people confuse intelligence and knowledge. Yes, this is about knowledge and not intelligence, because how much information do you know about that field? Like in game development, I say I'm a terrible game, you know, I'm terrible at game development because it is difficult, frankly difficult for me to just export a program and have it work right. There's things about game development I know, but there's so many thousands of other things that I don't know, you know. An expert will never call themselves an expert. Yeah, because if you hit that point, you would have to understand there's always somebody better, you know. If somebody ever knows anything more than you know, which realistically you'll even at this point, you know, what is the truth? You start getting to like the questions of what is truth and that. But yeah, with brand loyalty, I've been thinking about this. When I talk to people about trucks, because I, again, with cars, I would say I'm like, with vehicles, I'm like there for the most part. I can barely like, you know, if I have to go and change my oil, I'm gonna have to look up a YouTube tutorial. But I even know when somebody tells me they hate a vehicle because of its engine, they generally don't know why that engine's bad. They're just repeating something from some marketing that they've heard online. They know somehow less than me on even something like vehicles, you know. I know a game dev who didn't know what a for loop was when developing his game and didn't use it till after the game was finished. That's unfortunate. The default bias towards Japanese. Usually around here, it's more of the opposite. It's usually you have the Ford, the Chevy, or Ford GM. Nobody's really a Chrysler fan though anymore around here. At least in the Midwest. We're talking about games or cars, you know. Maybe they hate their engine because it does not have enough teraflops. Gigabyte of RAM should do the trick. Yeah, that's the other thing with like teraflops. I'm not like a computer expert. I'm just at the point where I know that teraflops don't really matter because it's a way to measure like performance in an ideal situation, but only across the same architectures, you know. My car has blast processing. Yeah, Chrysler's now Stellantis. They've changed a few times. You have Fords because they were the only cheap used cars you could find. I mean, honestly, at least in my experience, my very limited, again, being at the very bottom, generally a good rule is pre-recession 2008 in American cars is not a good time. That is not a good time if you're doing like 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. You can run into some problems. You wouldn't download a car, would you? How many bits is my computer? I'll have to check. The cell processor, that's what it was called. The cell processor was pretty cool, but they overhyped it. Like PS3 120 FPS. PS3 to 1 run at 120 FPS? Ken Kutaragi says is possible. There we go, guys. 2005 PS3 120 FPS. Newer TVs aren't even capable of rendering the screen 120 times in a second, and they wouldn't be for like 15 years, like in at least 10 years, you know. Ray tracing. Hello, Persona slates. Ray tracing's another thing, right? Like, there's such a wide gambit of what ray tracing can mean, and then some people dismiss it entirely as an invaluable or a worthless technology because they saw reflections in one game, or they say it makes a game just by having it. Yeah, the cell was a powerful thing. It's just it got a little overhyped. So the cell processor, from what I understand, was like, wasn't it built on like single core performance as opposed to, you know, like that's where you always hear this was more powerful than modern PCs, and it's just be from the single core performance. People knew kind of how to use it. You had to relearn some coding thingies. But it's also a lot of these stories, like PS3's processor is so much more powerful than this, you know, the Intel's. It's like it catches your eye, it clicks. Review Tech USA coming on you live through the power of the internet, you know. Skibidi baba. It's catchphrase. That was just my Review Tech USA catchphrase. Life of Pi is available on Game Pass a day early. Wowie zowie. Zowie wowie. Something I want to talk about on computers. Is it cheaper? Build your own computer. Or go with the pre-built. IGN. I have to get. Where do you get the news? Account random number. I want to know that. Where do you get the news? If the large portion of your job is getting the news, where do you get the news from? Is it RSS feeds? This is my opportunity to show RSS feeds. Here's my RSS feeds. Reddit leaks. Oof. Hashtag cringe. Yeah, I get from the Whimsu Discord exclusively. So yeah, I win. Yeah, well, that's the thing is with when we talk about pre-built versus non-pre-built, it used to be an argument of like PC superiority. Could you build your own computer? Frankly, building your own computer is not hard. Sorry to break it to you. It's like assembling a Lego set. But there was this idea of people would get such an ego boost of like, did you build your own computer versus did you order the pre-built? You know? That's the thing, Mark. Are they that expensive? If you want a 4090 build, is it going to cost you more to have somebody build you that 4090, or, you know, are you going to order the parts yourself? At least 3 years ago, this was, to be fair, during like the crypto craze, when I was ordering my computer, it would have been more expensive for me to order the parts individually than get a pre-built. The Google versus DOJ situation. Yeah, I think they're about the same pricing now. I think at this point, building your PC has kind of become more of a hobby thing if you want the experience of building your PC. You don't think you could spend $700 on parts alone? I mean, like, here's the thing, guys. My computer cost, doing it, as I said, if I were to have built my computer, it would have cost more than ordering it from like a pre-built. And I think that's one of the most, I don't know if people don't ever want to hear that, because it's like, it's usually the pricing of like some of these cards especially, you know, is like, you want your 4080, you know, and everyone's like, yeah, you could buy it used. Yeah, I don't want to buy from a crypto miner, you know. If you build your own PC because it's fun, that's great. I built my own PC inside of an accordion case. I use it in my videos once in a while, every time I mention building your own PC. Yeah, the middleman does still exist because you gotta buy the parts. It's just the labor now, I think, is almost... It's almost... You've never bought a new PC? That's the thing, is I think you have to have a... Once you have a starting ground... It's a neat casing idea. Well, it was a 1970s accordion case, so... This was sort of like a good buy for that particular computer. I mean, for custom builds, I do like specific, very specific sites you can find. I'm not gonna shill for them here, but that's how I got mine. Because I think back in the day, it was the 3080. This was a time where you simply couldn't get a 3080 anywhere. You couldn't get a Newegg. You're not gonna find it anywhere else, you know. I don't buy used just because I don't... If I do have issues, I don't want to have it in the back of my head. I don't want to be like, oh, what if it's something went wrong? That's just me. That's my weirdo phase. I'm a cat. Meow. Shell. Not shelling, because you guys are gonna be like, oh, you bought it for this guy? Man. Better cats or dogs? I vote for cats. I mean, like, I don't know. Everyone, the whole point here with the brand thing is people can get an ego boost over everything. If we get into PC gaming, the AMD NVIDIA wars are just as vicious as any console wars out there. You know? It's like... That's sort of the point here. I think people get like an ego boost based on their perceived their perceived knowledge of, man, I have made the perfect purchasing decision. Everybody else would be, you know, these stupid fools cannot possibly see what I see in Samsung Galaxy Flip Z2, the best phone of all. Yeah, like cause like I use NVIDIA for GPUs. I use AMD for CPUs. So I see all the fights, and the reason I use NVIDIA is because I don't know, I don't give a shit. DLSS or path tracing or some shit. I'll just tell you something. There's about a 700 difference in Micro Center. I mean, I'm just telling you what I've seen. You had the 1763 CUDA cores. You don't like DLSS? I like it. Markman, are you trying to convince me that your superiority is your superiority of building your computer? That's literally the same price. It's literally the same price. I'm not using the DLSS mod for Starfield. It runs pretty fine for what I need it, you know. As a manga connoisseur, I only get mad at anime fans when they complain about manga spoilers. But then post-anime spoilers, the second an episode drops. I have an AMD PC and an NVIDIA laptop. From what I've used, DLSS sucks, honestly. Well, you have a laptop. It's not a real NVIDIA. You fool. That's a mobile chipset. Unless you bought the laptop I did. I bought this laptop. I don't even, what's it called? It's the stupidest laptop in the planet. Is this thing. It just has a desktop GPU. It literally is burning my legs right now. Because how much does this weigh? It's 17 inches. It takes two power supplies, by the way. It has eye tracking. And it's not telling me how much it weighs. Thing 10 pounds. The 10-pound computer. How much is the new MacBook? 3 pounds. Not too bad. Only like 3 laptops. I love Alienware. And by that I mean I like how it looks. And that's the... I bought this computer because at the time I needed a desktop level GPU on my portable device. At this point it's kind of an outdated computer. So it's literally my streaming browsing computer. But buy the computer from LGR. I don't even know if I get an hour of battery life. It's like 20 minutes. You have a MacBook. Yeah, I like my Alienware laptop. That's not what I actually have though. My main PC is an Origin. This is the one I had to get for the 3080. Boop boop. I don't even know what's the difference. Maybe it's this. I don't know. It's just a big ass block. Whatever. I like Alienware's style. I do like Alienware's style. I just don't like their I don't like, people complain about the bloatware. It's like I don't have issues with bloatware. Just turn it off. It takes like 4 seconds. Wow, this looks lame. Give me my Alienware. I want to look at your cool Alienwares. Alienware is Dahlia. I'm fine with RGB. It's not like a selling point for me. I don't know if I like that. I think SB. I like that's what I like. It looks so. It's going so far. That's what it's so. Such a silly. Like. That's lame. That looks really lame. That looks less lame. That's what I'm talking about, yeah. Yeah, if you just reinstall Windows, like you don't have the problems. Framework 13. I didn't know they had we'll see the Alienware monitors. The 500 hertz monitor. That's what I need. I have RGB on my laptop because I think it looks silly and fun. But I didn't really want my main PC to have that much RGB because, like, it's just a steel, pure silver case for the most part. It's just the logo. That's great, Yoshi. That's so great. I'll put that in I'll consider that. I'll consider that opinion. $144p screen. That's what we need. 144p screen. I don't know if I'd ever buy another Alienware. I don't even know why I bought this laptop, to be completely frank. You want it? That's great, Mark. That's so great. I feel like I'm not being as friendly as I normally am. I feel like I quit caring. This is the music for it. The cat ear headphones, yeah. Let's talk about Razer. Oh, you can just buy just the ears for the cat headphones. Yeah, that's what I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing these. So with Razer, I used to buy Razer products, but to be honest, the reason I quit is actually they don't support, like, if you buy with hotkeys. So the way I edit really quickly is I have a button that's linked to blade, a button that's linked to like undo, to cut, trim, all those features in Logic. That's the way I edited everything. And as soon as they, like, Razer just doesn't update for their new devices, so you can't use any of those hotkeys anymore on Mac, which is just so stupid. I have to start using SteelSeries on Mac, because I think it's the only thing that's useful. But my SteelSeries is really heavy. I don't really love how it feels, but I've never made content really with Cody in years. I work on his channel. I guess he voices the alternate history hub videos. I edit them. Razer works. Yeah, I just wish it worked on my Mac, you know. I still use some Razer stuff, but I need to find a new SteelSeries. And it's not, I don't really think I need a gaming mouse. I need, like, it was customizable. Wow, that's what I need. That's absolutely, yep. Wow, look, it's 3D, guys. Yeah, I use my, like, I'm using right now, I'm using my Razer on my Windows, and I have to use my SteelSeries on my Mac. So I need both of them to stream. I wish I used to use Razer a lot. I don't know. I know there's people that they hate Razer so much. I've heard in so many forums people call Razer the Apple of PC gaming accessories, as in a derogatory sense. I used to have the hard Razer mouse pads are actually kind of necessary for me to work on my computer. This is not the right music. I thought Razer was a phone. I mean, it kind of is. This is some weird, uncomfortable music for us. Razer does make scooters, yeah. Let's see, where's the Razer Snake? Razer Snake plush. The Snacky Snack. Do they still sell this? Unless it's out of stock. It is not out of stock. You can order one right now. You can order this. This is like what I was thinking kind of with like Husky the Snowman, where Razor's like, oh yeah, here's our mascot. The snake. Of course. We've always had the snake. The snake mascot. You're out to go play VR. I don't know if I've ever heard those words. It's a great snake, yeah. I own one of these snakes. I don't know where he is. Where's my razor snake? I would like a Whimsu cat plush. I've tried having the AI generate one for me. It hasn't worked. Some guy sold it on eBay. I don't know, the low resolution image just helps so much more. Am I sick? No, do I sound sick? I am using a new headset. That snake was part of a Knowledge Hub video. I don't know which one though. Let's see. Ale and hearty. Ho ho. Oh. Wow. This there's some real irony here of applying the Dunning-Kruger effect to your marketing for your startup businesses. We're really going deep. I am sad that Wimmy isn't here. Like, the problem is, if Wimmy doesn't work, she was working all day. When I set up these streams, I have to do, like, pre-record, like, 4 times to try to make sure everything doesn't break. Wimmy works, and then if one thing goes wrong... Like, the only way... Like, even now, my hotkeys aren't even working. Like, the way I can zoom in, I can do that, not working. The Freddy Krueger effect. The Dyson headphones. I'll look at the Dyson headphones. Headphones with purification. Oh. Don't speak to me, I'm gaming. You're unpure. You're not wearing your Dyson headphones. As someone who values both quality sound and clean air, I was thrilled to get my hands on the new Dyson Zone headset. After spending some time with these revolutionary headphones, I can confidently say they are not only well made, but also deliver exceptional audio and noise Did somebody go into Chat GPT? Did Dyson go into Chat GPT? And did they just type in make us an ad for the stupidest pair of headphones? Man. They have a whole section, Dyson headphones. Is this the only thing in their section? This is important enough to them that they made a whole section for it. Wow. I don't think Dyson realizes that how stupid they look. I'm sorry if you're watching this, Dyson. If you yourself are watching it, Mr. Dyson. But your Dyson Solar Desk? With light quality that lasts 60 years. See, this is what I want. I don't really like how every time I turn on my lights, I'm thinking, oh man, the light quality is degrading. It's like a VHS retaping over it. Ah, man. Wow. I think you could buy this for like $30. The light is pure genius. It changes its light levels and color to follow the natural light of the day. Edward says, my buddy in marketing told me about the Dyson headphones. He described it as a marketing product, something made not to sell but to advertise the brand. Well, I think it's doing its job. Dyson or Tyson? I would like Tyson, the Tyson headphones. Let's actually make that right now. Headphones made out of chicken nuggets. The Tyson headphones will be ready here in a second. Are you kidding me? What word was banned in that? The word chicken nuggets? Headphones made out of chicken nuggets. Well, not allowed to say chicken nuggets. Out of chicken tenders. Okay, okay. Okay, you're killing me here. Headphones made out of chicken. Headphones made out of cock. Headphones. Dog. Frog. I think my account's just been banned. I think that's it. AI is vegan. This can't be real. Nobody reviewed this. Read all reviews. Oh yeah, we can't me move my fingies too much. Headphones. No. I got scared because my fingies hurt. See fingies. Excellent. Excellent. Poor. Pretty mad. Let's do a 7. Other than visiting the Dyson website, have you done any of the following? No. Other. I looked on another website. I'm just gonna copy this one right there. What do you plan on doing this? Other. Oh, they don't give me another option. Why your light bulb so much? I wanted light, but now everything dark. No. If you would like to receive... No, I don't want to receive an email. I'm not giving you my email so you can spam me with your Dyson shit. Okay. Well, they'll watch the stream. They're watching the stream right now. Let's see if Whirlpool is making PCs. You're right. The blog. Let's go to the blog. The Whirlpool blog. Convection versus conventional ovens. What's the difference? I don't know. So the benefits of a convection oven versus a conventional ovens. Wait, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? On that bombshell, this ends another episode of Whimsu Live. Today we discussed some good things about Unity Engine and why I think the decision, whatever they made, was a good one. We talked about why... Goodbye.